Yeah, going to be waiting for that team news with with interest.
Guys, good afternoon, FPL managers. I have just hit the go live button and we are live to watch Leeds versus Man United. The teams are out. Very quickly, I'm going to throw to Seb for firstly, hello Seb, but also for an update on team news. And then Tobes, I'll come to you for your United update.
Hey, so I'll throw some team news your way. Probably as expected with Leeds, we have no Rafinha, who's injured. Liam Cooper still suspended. So Melia in goal, Luke Ayling at right back, Alioski at left back, Strauch and Llorente centre backs, Phillips in the holding role as always, Roberts and Stuart Dallas in central midfield, Helder Costa on the right, Harrison on the left, although they may switch a bit, and Bamford up front.
Good stuff, like that. Interesting to see if we miss Rafinha today. Tobes, how are you doing? And any updates on United? The game's kicked off at Ellen Road. We might get a couple of early goals, so we'll keep you updated ASAP.
Yeah, no worries. It's one change. I think Pogba drops out and Dan James comes in. We were just kind of saying off air, possibly due to the fact that they went this way in the reverse fixture, where United had a good day out. I'm kind of interested to know who's actually going to play through the middle. Is it going to be Greenwood? Is it going to be Rashford? Not quite sure. But yeah, in terms of team news, other than Pogba or James in for Pogba, it's kind of as you'd expect. Dean Henderson in goal, centre-back pairing of Maguire and Lindelof, Luke Shaw left back, Wan-Bissaka right back, middle two of Fred and McTominay. Then we've got Rashford, Dan James, Bruno and Mason Greenwood. So yeah, haven't quite been able to see who's playing where across that kind of front three. You'd expect Bruno to be playing in the middle where he normally does. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether we've got Bruno, Rashford, or even Dan James could be playing through the middle. Who knows?
Oh, and it is Greenwood with a little flick. Yeah, sorry, Seb. Chance for Greenwood. Ball comes in from Bruno. Easy, comfortable save. I think it will be Greenwood down the middle because we know Dan James will only play on the right, and we know Rashford is usually on the left. When Greenwood plays out wide, it's usually on the right. So I think we can have Greenwood number 9, which is really interesting for many of those that have jumped on him. Seb, were you tempted?
Yeah, I mean, in isolation probably, but then I had some other problems to fix for my own team, to be honest. For Man United today, I think it's interesting. I quite like that attack. It's quite an interesting attack, but Solskjaer's very much gone for this worked last time. Let's see if it will work again. And I'm not sure. Leeds have changed a lot since. I still think Man United are favourites for this. I think they'll score. I think they'll win. I'm desperately hoping it won't be the 6-1 again. But what worked last time, which is, those runners through the middle and pace out wide, well, we've seen Liverpool not able to take us apart. Man City did a decent enough job on us and we got very fortunate, but they didn't go and, take us apart or anything. And I think once again, Leeds have changed. Dallas is now doing more of a zonal job in the middle. So those centre-backs bringing the ball out of defence, McTominay having all that space to roam, possibly won't work the same as it did last time. And if we have dropped a little bit deeper, we'll see less space for Greenwood, Rashford, Dan James in behind. So while I do think Man United are favourites, it's interesting that Solskjaer's gone with what worked months ago without maybe looking at how the teams have changed since.
Yeah. Guys in the chat, let us know your predictions. Let us know who your captain is this game week. How is it going? Where are you all today? I feel like Delia Smith here. Do you know what? I'm thinking because Andy only set the stream up 15 minutes ago, which is when you guys will get a notification because you all subscribe to Scout YouTube channel, of course. You probably didn't know we were doing one, did you? So I think we're going to get a load of people coming on watching us in the next maybe 10, 15 minutes, or maybe they're away from their computers because they're watching the game. But hopefully you're with us. Let us know your predictions. Let us know who you think is going to score first. Let us know what players you've got. There'll be loads captaining Bruno today, Tobes. Was that one you considered? You're a Bruno owner. You went Salah. Good call.
No. I mean, to be honest with you, I've kind of been in the back of my mind. This might sound a bit extreme. I've been kind of thinking about getting rid of Bruno.
Absolutely. I did say on your wild card I wouldn't be going with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because I think the reason why he's kind of dried up a little bit is because United haven't been getting many penalties recently. He hasn't been getting those kind of, I don't want to call them cheap assists, but those kind of 5-yard pass assists where then Greenwood pops it in the top corner. They've kind of just dried up a little bit for him, which, over the course of the season, they'll kind of ebb and flow. But yeah, his numbers have been quite a long way down. And yeah, you could argue on a wild card, it would have been a brave call, I think, to take him out because he is the kind of player that can hurt you. And it also felt like if you take him out, it's then quite difficult to bring him back in without doing a kind of a bit of major surgery to your team. So yeah, really, I kind of played it safe and went with Bruno. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping that he kind of rewards that because he hasn't really returned much recently, and I'm hoping for big things from today. Ideally, without any returns from Greenwood, because I know a lot of people have bought him in. I was close to with the Jota news. If Jota had been injured, I would have bought in Greenwood for Jota. Jota obviously wasn't injured, but blanked anyway. So yeah, part of me is like, don't really want Greenwood to bang today.
Yeah.
On Fernandes, he's in the last 6. He's actually second for midfielders in XGI with 3.94,
really?
just behind Salah.
Yeah. That's surprising.
But I think the difference, as you're saying there, though, his underlying numbers aren't all that different. A little drop off maybe, but what we're so used to with Fernandes is, like you say, those penalties, those. Not cheap assists, but maybe, the incisive through balls and also just laying someone else up when they do the work. And it's 50% of that is missing. And if he's slightly underperforming on the other side, we're just saying nothing. So with that 3.94 XGI, he's got 1 assist and 1 goal. Yeah. So a pretty big underperformance in terms of the numbers.
He's one of those players, isn't he? Like, I know Gianni and I talk about it a lot in our WhatsApp group, where because he is a very, very good player, United often play badly, and even Bruno plays badly for 89 minutes, and then he pops up with a goal at the end. He pops up with a penalty. He does a little bit of magic, which players like Bruno, really good players, top players, it's kind of what they do. But it somehow feels a little bit cheap, and you sort of think, oh, God, he hasn't been very good. United haven't been very good, but he's still got me 9 points. And it's like, that's just a sign of a good player.
So, right, hear me out. Without the penalties, he reminds me of James Maddison. Yeah, obviously a lot better. But in terms of, like, he can control a match, things will go through him. He's on set pieces. He will be threading those balls, flying those balls across the pitch, but maybe doesn't get into the box as much as you'd want. So maybe relies on being able to overperform his chances. Of course, he has penalties, unlike Maddison, and he is a better player, so it all just takes it up a notch. But when he's maybe not returning the points, it kind of reminds me of watching James Maddison, where you're like, you are involved, you're doing stuff, and I just want that little bit more. I want you to be in the box or something.
Paul H in the chat has just said what I was about to. What's Bruno's stats with and without Pogba on the pitch? And we can maybe look at those later. But one thing I would say is in recent weeks, the reason why Bruno's not been getting the points, well, Pogba's been really good. And it does work like that. This isn't a coincidence. We've seen it all season. When Pogba's playing well, especially when Pogba's playing in a 3 behind the 1, rather than in the kind of central midfield, then he's involved.
Rashford is in.
Timestamps. What do you want?
There's a ball over the top there to Marcus Rashford, who I don't think he took a great touch. He takes it wide. He was probably in if he controlled that well. He looks maybe just off, but it won't matter now. Yeah, if he'd taken a better touch, he's in one-on-one there, but the defence gets back well to cover. He drags it to the right and then scuffs his shot quite badly.
It's a great ball.
Really good pass by Lindelof.
Yeah. I think he could have been off. It's a really close one. It would have gone, the lines would have come out. Llorente just caught under the high ball. Seb, you're watching the game ahead of us, which is brilliant as a Leeds fan, rightly so. What timestamp are you on?
I am on 6:59:7:7:01.
Good job, guys. That's what you should be mirroring with for those that want to mirror. Hopefully those of you have got the game in front of you and you're listening to us. Thank you for doing that. But many of you won't be watching the game. You'll be otherwise engaged, and we will be keeping you up to date with all the big chances, all the goals. Also, we'll be telling you what we think of those that are playing. We'll be talking systems, formations. Oh, pass. Okay, no, that's
yeah. I just saw that. Yeah, it's like one of those. It turned out fine, but Maguire
heavy touch
across goal, and Henderson. Yeah, Henderson doesn't quite control that how he'd want to.
It's almost like one of those Peter Enkelman, the famous Villa keeper under the foot. It's almost one of those.
That was unbelievably from a throw-in, wasn't it? That was so funny.
Yeah, and then the fan ran on the pitch and like gave him a little sort of cheek slap, didn't he? And like somehow didn't react to it, which was like the most amazing thing.
The reason I didn't bring in Greenwood, guys, is one small matter of the Europa League, and I just feel like United have got top 4 nailed. They've had a week off, by the way, so they're full strength today, as you might expect. But I think next week in the Premier League, we might see some minutes managed, and maybe moving forward. Top 4's in the bank. They're not going to win the league. The Europa is everything. And do you know who I'm supporting for the next 7 days and 7 days only? Come on. They're going to do the job. Do I really believe that? I'm not so sure, but I cannot wait for Thursday night. Anyway, this game, we should talk a little bit about Leeds. How are they doing so far, Seb? The classic lineup was what we expect with one striker, right? It's a back 4. We often see a back 4 with Leeds, but when they play 2 up front, we see a back 5, right?
Yeah, it is indeed the back 4, as you'd expect. So 4-1, 4-1, Phillips holding, Bamford up front. And I mean, apart from that, with an early free kick, I think it was Luke Shaw fouled, Fernandes put it in, Greenwood had a header straight into Melia's arms. That ball over the top from Lindelof to Rashford. apart from that, I don't think we've had any chances, but we've done okay. I'd imagine we've had more of the ball, and we're pressing well. We've caught them high a couple of times, which is what you'd expect from Leeds. And hey, we're 8-9 minutes in, and we haven't conceded 2 goals yet, so it's an improvement on last time.
Yeah, McTominay's not had a sniff. With Rafinha out, Helder Costa comes into the team, and he's got a few minutes recently. Any chance? Did you think that was nailed? Because I've not been impressed. And when Paveda's come on, he's looked good. Do you think we'll see Paveda slightly earlier today?
I mean, maybe 60, 70 minutes. If something goes wrong, maybe half time. But I don't think we'll see him start anytime soon, unless Rafinha's out for a real while. Helder Costa's okay. He's one of those, a bit like Tyler Roberts, goes back and forth. I really like Tyler Roberts, and although in the past I would have said the opposite. Helder Costa was amazing for Wolves a few years ago in the Championship. They then sold him when they went to the Premier League. We picked him up, and he probably wasn't quite as good for us as we would have wanted, although he really did improve. And then in the Premier League, he's kind of dropped back to
He did have a season in the Premier League with Wolves, Seb, and then they sold him to you, and he wasn't very good.
But he hardly played, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it when they signed? It was obviously they brought people in. I can't remember. Maybe did they have Traore then? I forget, but I know they brought someone in ahead of him. I think when they got promoted. But yeah, I think he does an okay job for us. We brought him in for someone who really could progress the ball at feet, which he will do. He'll run at people, he'll take the ball on, which is good. But I think against Championship defenders, he's very, very good at that. In the Premier League, he's doing an okay job for us, but you'd maybe want to improve his position if you wanted to keep climbing the league.
Seb, any insight as to why Alioski wears a number 10? That's kind of annoying me.
He's not a left back,
irrationally annoying me.
We signed him as a winger, if not even like an attacking midfielder. He used to take penalties I forget who we signed him from, but he used to take penalties. I remember watching a highlight of his penalties, and they were amazing. He absolutely leathered them into the corners. It was brilliant.
One level left.
Yeah. So when we first signed him, I want to say his debut for us was on the left wing with Dallas on the right. Maybe it was a while ago now. But yeah, so an attacking player who. He played, before joining us, he did play left wing back for his national team in like a back 3, back 5. And obviously Bielsa's now made him into a left back for us.
And he won't be starting left back next season, will he, Seb?
I would be very surprised. I actually don't know if he'll be with us next season.
Yeah. Interesting to see what they do with Dallas next season, because I was thinking next season Dallas would be left back. But I just think after the amount of goals he scored in the Premier League playing as a number 8, I think his future's number 8 now, isn't it, Seb? I mean, you'll buy a left back, surely.
We will try to buy left back. If we can, we definitely will bring one in. I would say the goals thing is, free kick in from Bruno Fernandes there. Harry Maguire almost comes off him rather than him actually getting a chance to take a shot. But that's into a really nice area, and it just goes over the bar. But if he'd connected with that better, that could well have been a goal. I think you'll see this coming up in a sec.
Yeah. Does it come off his knee or his shin?
Yeah, it does. It's almost like he tries to block it. It could have bounces ahead of him and just comes off his knee rather than him being able to get anything on it.
Good clearance from Maguire.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I think we'll sign a left back. We'll try to. Dallas will stay in midfield, and then on the goals and output thing, that's kind of quite an FPL view of it, if you know what I mean. Like obviously his goals are valuable in real life, but dare I say that's not why he's playing in midfield to score goals. He's playing in midfield because he's doing something. We saw the Man United match earlier in the season where Matthias Klick failed to really track centre-back / McTominay properly. Dallas is doing a zonal role in a team of man markers. Yeah. And it's that has really helped us become a lot more defensively solid. And yeah, he's good on the ball as well. He's scoring goals. So I wouldn't be surprised if he kept the 8th position next season, not for scoring goals or whatever, but for what he brings to the rest of the team.
Tobes, how much will Dallas be in FPL next season? He'll obviously be listed as a midfielder, but he's not going to be a 4.55, is he?
I was literally just thinking that, and all I can think as a way of comparison is what they did to Lundstrom. Obviously, he's now become a completely outrageously pointless FPL asset, and I don't know what Lundstrom was put to. Was it 5.5, 6?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I imagine they'll do the same with Dallas. I imagine he'll be a 5.5/6 option, which I don't know. Arguably, it's not necessarily the worst shout in the world. I think like one thing, and Seb, I'm sure will have a view on this. I think there is this kind of ongoing idea with Leeds that they're this incredibly open, defensively frail team that concede a ton of goals but score a ton of goals. But actually, in recent weeks or months, even they've actually tightened up quite significantly at the back. I think, haven't they? And particularly their run towards the end of the season, you're even looking at possibly like a Melier in goal as your option because they're probably a lot more defensively sound than I think people give them credit for.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 6 matches, I think it is here, we are 8th, for expected goals conceded, so about mid-table. But that includes playing Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
So before going into those matches, I want to say we were like third or something, or at least higher. So yeah, we've definitely tightened up, both in sort of changing how we've played a little bit, maybe how people have approached us. So yeah, I think, like you say, you see people maybe targeting Leeds as a captain. Oh, I'll get some goals here. If you've captained a Man United player today, I think and hope it won't come off for you. And going forward, yeah, I think Dallas is going to be a midfielder next year, isn't he? He'll be 6 million or something. Luke Ayling is the one I'll have my eyes on. He's only just behind Dallas in terms of the underlying numbers. Obviously has got no return, so clearly is worse.
Stop trying to make Ayling happen, Seb. It's not going to happen.
I will, if he's a 4.5 million defender next year, I will own him. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It'll be great next season because one, he'll get some attacking returns, but two, he won't have to fill in at centre back much because they won't have the injuries they've had this season. Guys in the chat, let us know what Leeds players you're looking to identify between now and the end of the season, because their last 3 fixtures are really, really tasty. So there'll be loads that go from Ian Atshow to Bamford, because Leicester have a difficult 3 fixtures and Leeds have a really good 3 fixtures. There'll be loads that maybe have an eye on Rafinha. What do we think about Rafinha's injury, Seb? Paul H in the chat is asking us for an update there. It's hard to say. What I would say is earlier in the week, before the Bielsa press conference, we knew he wasn't going to play because Bruno told us all on Instagram. So Bruno was like, oh, shame I'm not going to be able to play against my good mate this weekend. They used to play together at Lisbon. I didn't even know Rafinha played for Sporting Lisbon. But yeah, he had said like, oh, shame I can't play against my mate. Presumably those guys had had a phone call. Do we think, I mean, it was a thigh strain, right? So you'd like to think it's only going to be a couple of weeks out and he's ready for next weekend.
I mean, yeah, Bielsa's often very honest in the press conferences. He'll tell you what he knows and what he thinks. But we have had with injuries in the past, like Rafinha, where just each week he'll say, oh, we're not sure, he's not ready, which I presume is truthful. But that's gone on for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah,
so there's every chance it could be another couple of weeks, or he could be back, tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure, but I forget who it was. It may have been Liam Cooper a while ago that we saw a similar thing with, where just every week it felt like it was going to be this weekend and then it never was. So I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, all eyes on press conferences and training photos. Go on, Tobes.
Do we think Rafinha might have some of the big boys, the big clubs circling for him in the summer?
I do. I wonder if he gets one more year at Leeds, Tobes, and they see he has 2 good seasons. Because sometimes, do you remember, was it Cisse at Newcastle? We had one unbelievable season, and loads nearly bought him but didn't. Ryan Fraser at Bournemouth, loads nearly bought him and then didn't. Once he's done it for 2 years, Pepe.
Pepe was a bit like that, right? Had an absolute worldie season in Liga 1 and has been pretty woeful. I love Rafinha. I think he's incredible. And also, I was just checking now. Didn't know how old he was. He's 24. He's a really good age, isn't he, to be making a signing? He's got, he's arguably got his best years ahead of him. He's not hit his peak yet. I'd be very surprised if he's not, in a couple of years' time at a Bayern or a Madrid or someone like that.
I think realistically he will end up at a Champions League club. Hey, maybe that'll be us. That'd be nice. The good thing we do have is we just signed him on a long contract. If you want him, you pay us a lot of money.
Absolutely, yeah. And he'll command a huge fee, I'd have thought, given his age, given how good he's been. Yeah, he's going to be big bucks.
He could, obviously Man City probably don't need him. But I think it might have been you a while ago, Gianni, that said, he just does that Mahrez role. He could just play for Man City in that position.
Yeah, I can honestly see Pep going for him. I really can. But has he been called up to the national squad yet? Has he got any caps? I feel like he's probably got under 21 caps, but yeah,
I'm not sure.
It wouldn't surprise me if he even gets a Brazil call up this summer. Like, I don't even know if they've got games. But...
Hasn't he got some Italian heritage in him as well? Has he got an Italian parent?
I don't know. If he has, then we might do a Jorginho on him.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. I just remember somebody hearing it. Somebody in the chat can probably confirm whether I'm talking complete and utter nonsense.
He does indeed have Italian nationality here. According to Wikipedia, he's got Italian nationality as well.
Nationality, okay, because he's never lived there. He's never played for an Italian team. Not to my knowledge.
How much higher has he just gone up in your estimations, Danny, now that you know there's a bit of Italian in there?
He's a worldie. I'd say he's top 3 in the league in his position. Guys in the chat, loads of you have mentioned that, I don't have Chris Wood and I'm really sad. Guys, do not be disappointed about not owning Chris Wood this week. No one looked at Chris Wood, well, very few people did, and when he's a brilliant shout for Wolves away, okay? When someone like that goes and gets a 20-pointer, don't feel bad that he's not in your team. Like, did you ever consider him? No, you didn't, so you don't deserve him anyway. That's how you should see it, right? And he probably won't do it again for another 6 months. It's just what it happens. And fair play to all those that got on him. I mean, he has looked good in recent weeks.
Leeds might be in here. Harrison carrying the ball forward. I think United gave it away in the midfield. Harrison carrying it forward. Just tries to find Bamford. I wonder if he should have gone to the far side there. Yeah.
Helder Costa is in loads of space, isn't he, Seb?
I think I don't know if that's what he was looking for, and Bamford got. I don't think it was it? That's what he should have gone for if he could have done. Oh, did that come off Luke Shaw's arm? I don't know if they're actually checking it, and I don't know if it would be. I don't know if it would be fair, but it does hit his arm.
Yeah, it definitely strikes his arm, but it's not a pen. If they look at it, it won't be given. His arm's down by his side.
Ooh. We seem to be looking at it with VAR. I mean, the Leeds fan in me is screaming for penalty. Realistically, that would seem very harsh, but it does hit his arm.
Yeah, if that was earlier in the season, that's 100% a penalty. By the new law, that's not a pen.
Does it stop it going through to Helder Costa, who
probably
space to score a goal?
The one thing I would say as well, it comes from quite a long way away, and he does have the opportunity to move his arm. You would think, sure, not that necessarily he has to, but
yeah, it's not being given.
No.
That was earlier in the season. It's 100% a pen, although maybe not against United. Who knows? Bamford, Seb. He's one I'm looking at for the end of season run-in. He's been really unlucky in recent weeks. We saw him hit the bar. Leeds. No, I'm just watching your face, Seb, and you look like you're watching a chance.
We've got the ball sort of out on the left and trying to work it into the area. Bamford had his can't quite see who that was, but wrestling with someone with the ball there. Thank you. Mine keeps going blurry a bit, so I keep losing who the players are. We're just recycling midfield now.
Dallas has a swinger from the edge of the 18-yard box on his left foot. If he gets a bit more time and space, he probably works the keeper there, but he fluffs it.
Yeah,
Let's go possibly. Leeds. We all want Leeds to win today, right, Tobes?
I mean, as a Spurs fan, not that we've got any chance of catching Man United, but yeah, pretty much 90% of my football supporting mates will support Man United, so it's always nice to see them lose.
My father-in-law is in the room next door, and he's a big Leeds fan, so I'm obviously very pro Leeds today.
Just there, watching Man United come away, I think it was a ball over that Rashford was trying to get onto, and Llorente comfortably picks it up, plays it back to Melia. I would say not just with Dallas, but that's one of the things that's maybe changed with us as well. Llorente is very good on those recovery runs.
Yeah.
We saw it a lot against Liverpool. I know he scored the goal, and I know the commentary in the Liverpool match were blaming him for some mistakes. I think actually defensively he was good. Possession less so. But that turn and recover and beat a fast striker to the ball, recover possession is something he does very, very well. And possibly is one of the things that's allowed us to improve our defence in the last few weeks.
Frode in the chat got Wood on his wild card in 31. Fair play, nice. Frode. Love that. Paul's saying he's 2% ownership, or effective ownership's 2, so even lower. Matt saying, yeah, it looked quite hard. Oh, interesting. John Tyler. Apparently, the new law means you get a red for kicking the ball. Valbuena? Love that. That was an absolute shocker.
It was bad, wasn't it?
It was like, why are you asking the ref to go and look at the screen? You're putting that doubt. Like, and then when you are sent to the screen, you feel obliged to give it because the VAR has told you to look at it.
I know they talk about this a lot, don't they? About like having officials that haven't played the game to a certain level. But again, that felt like one of those that if that, I don't know who the referee was, but if that was an ex-player in that situation, I don't think you're giving that. You realise the circumstances of that. You realise you're in that position. It's just unfortunate. There's no malice. There's no intent. And yeah, I'm really surprised he sent him off.
Jebesh in the chat. Guys, any update about Harry Kane? Jebesh, as soon as we know he's on the team bus or he's arrived at Wembley or he's in the team, we'll let you know. Toby is checking Spurs' Twitter every 5 minutes and we'll have team news. Tobes, what time will we get team news? 3 o'clock, right? On the nose, pretty much. So we're 35 minutes away.
Will it be 3 o'clock? The kickoff's 4:30. So
is it 4:30? 3:30?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, you might get it a bit earlier as it's not a Premier League game.
Do we think we'll get loads of photos with him like walking in or what have you, or the old carrying his watch or something? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hopefully. To be honest with you, I think he's going to start. From what I've read, the things that Ryan Mason has said, He's been a little bit cagey about it, but I think if he wasn't going to play, he'd have probably come out and maybe said he wasn't going to play. Although I do appreciate him making it unclear is probably a good thing in terms of Spurs preparation. But yeah, I think Kane's going to play. There were some pictures of him released yesterday of him doing some pretty intense work outside, twisting and turning on an ankle,
not with the
kicking
team
balls.
though.
And yeah, you're not with the team, but I would be surprised if he's not starting today.
I will eat my hat if he doesn't start. This is Harry Kane. Like he'll be wheeled out at 50%, won't he, Tobes? Like he will start. It's a final.
Yeah, and a 50% fit Harry Kane is about 50% better than any other option we've got in that position. So I'm all for it.
Fair. What have you seen, Seb?
Oh, nothing there. There was a free kick in from Luke Shaw that is easily cleared away, and we're back to Henderson now. Leeds pressing as per Jack Harrison, closing down about 3 players at once.
I think we will get the lineup at 5:30. I mean, sometimes for the non-Premier League games, or you get it a little bit earlier or a bit later. Like Champions League, we sometimes get early, sometimes get late. But I'm pretty sure because it's domestic, it will be around an hour. So yeah, we'll be updating you on that, and it'll be really interesting to see what lineup Pep goes with as well. But yeah, I think we can expect Bale, Son and Kane to all be starting. Remember, Ryan Mason played with 6 of the current squad. He looked up.
United might be in. Oh, they've just messed it up. Worked it nicely down the right-hand side. It's cut it back into the area. Possibly a heavy touch and then just cleared away from Mason Greenwood, I think that was.
Was Greenwood. He would have been in. If Greenwood controls that ball, he controls and strikes. And it's from there, Greenwood's clinical.
Could he have taken that first time? It's a tough one, but we know how Mason Greenwood's finishing technique is.
Yeah, possibly.
We know this is probably testament to how good a finisher he is. Is Greenwood actually left-footed or right-footed? I actually don't know.
He's right-footed, but yeah, good point. He can strike it with either.
If he takes a penalty, he takes it with his right, I think. Like, I given the choice, but I feel like his left is
Imagine
just a
being...
left.
He's naturally right-footed to the best of my knowledge, but like you say, he's capable with both.
Yeah. There's some players, there's a few. I mean, if we're even speaking casually, one of our mates, like, he'll take a corner with his left, but a penalty with his right. It's like, that's wicked.
Oh, Santi Cazorla used to take corners on either side with the opposite foot, didn't he?
Yeah, fair. Do remember that. What player?
It's like Ronnie O'Sullivan, isn't it? It's like the snooker equivalent of that, being able to roll in and play professionally either way is unreal.
Yeah. Seb sounds disappointed that the Man U attack came to nothing. How FPL changes your perspective. Paul, honestly, you got that one wrong. He was not disappointed. And I don't think he's got any United interest anyway.
I don't know any Man United players, so no. Although now I am thoroughly re-examining myself and I'm concerned.
Mybo thinks he's left-footed. If it was a quiz question, I would have said left as well, but I don't want to doubt Seb.
I will put myself on the line and say he's right-footed. I'm happy to be proven wrong. Delighted to be proven wrong.
I think we can find that.
I think he's right-footed.
I think he's left, but yeah, only because. Well, I know he strikes it both feet so well, but I don't know why I think he's left. Is Greenwood?
I'm gonna need a good source here. If you go, is Greenwood left-footed, and the source is Gianni Battisti's Twitter, I'm not taking it.
Do you know what? If it's Transfer Market, which it won't be, then I'll question it because that's the worst source for me. When I see players average his positions on Transfer Market, which by the way is run mostly by volunteers, it makes me vomit in my mouth. They get it so wrong so often.
Look up a Google image search of him in Football Manager.
He's left-footed.
According to
Google.
Yeah, but what's the source?
I don't know. It's the top thing on Google from the manunitedfans.com, I think.
So there's an actual quote, isn't there? It says, according to the youngster, he marginally prefers his left foot. When asked whether he prefers using his left or right, he said, I prefer to use any foot when it comes to me, but I prefer my left foot more than my right, really. So, there's not much in it, let's be honest.
Seb,
hey, fair
you've
play.
gone down in my estimation.
I'm happy to go down in your estimations if I learn something new. If that's a quote from him, fair enough.
Love it. Left-footed on FIFA. Right. Well, there we go. RG23. 27 minutes in. We've had no saves from either keeper yet. This is very different to the game at Old Trafford 6 months ago when by now I think it was like 3-0 or something.
I think we did have one, didn't we? Melier made one from a Greenwood header quite early on. Yeah.
Fair play.
Only one. It wasn't really a save. It was kind of a gather, wasn't it, almost? It will go down as a save, but yeah.
So, guys, I was looking at bringing in a keeper this week because I actually had 12 men playing, but all outfield players. So I don't have a goalkeeper playing, and I was going to bring in Melier, but I decided not to take 12-point hit, the extra 4 just for a goalkeeper for 1 week. But yeah, Meslier was the one I was going to go with because I feel like his fixture is going to be so good. And Leeds, as we said, I've got so much better. He also is one of those keepers, Seb, just attracts save points. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he's a very good shot stopper, I believe. And yeah, I mean, when we're saying Leeds' defence has improved, we still concede a decent volume number of shots. Yeah. So he will make those saves. I mean, we've seen one today. He took an easy one from a free kick. Was it Man City where they just had a million long range shots against us? He will attract, like you say, save points.
Yeah, even the likes
of Man United bringing the ball forward here. Ooh. Mason Greenwood bringing it forward on the right, and he just laid it across to, I think, Bruno, who just got beaten to it by the Leeds defender. Maybe Mason Greenwood should have tried using his right foot. It would have been a better pass.
He went outside the boot with his left. Which is always the sign of someone that can't use the other foot. It's like, why are they using the outside their foot?
Honestly, like it's a Gareth Bale now. I've forgotten how incredibly left-footed he is. He always does that little left foot outside of the boot. His right foot is shocking.
Unless you're Paul Merson, you shouldn't be using the outside of your boot. He was unbelievable with it. His outside the boot was better than his inside of the boot. Greenwood puts his ball in. Okay, no, Fred doesn't get there.
I'll tell you what I'm enjoying now, though, just watching Mason Greenwood. I'm watching, because obviously depending on your footedness dominance, you can control it with both feet, you'll play it with both. But just watching how he's taking it and then which one he's choosing to dribble with, he really is there is a preference for a left there, I think, probably, especially now that you've told me. But there really is, he will happily take it on either. I think there was an interview with Kyle Walker where he talked about what's the biggest thing he learned from Pep Guardiola. And the idea was that Kyle Walker would always try and control the ball with his right foot because he's right-footed, and then play it with his right foot, which would slow him down slightly. And Pep Guardiola was like, control it with your left, play it with your right. If it's coming in the inappropriate situation, always do that. And he used to force him to do it in training. And he said it really helped him, picking up the speed of his possession. Watching Greenwood there, he can very much go either way. And it's quite an interesting thing watching someone, how they control the ball, how they choose to use which foot in which situation.
Yeah.
Is there, sorry to interrupt, is there an off the ball incident here? The camera's on McTominay, and I think Calvin Phillips went down off the ball. I don't think they're making too much of it, but I don't know if there's a little elbow in there or.
I
did not catch that. Everyone seems all right now. Fernandes is over a free kick, and Phillips is just wide of the wall.
Seb, has your free kick been taken?
It was a stupid,
because this is a dangerous free kick.
It has very high, very wide.
Bruno takes it on his right foot. I'd have let Greenwood on the left take that.
Actually, I bet
he's right-footed. He wouldn't.
I bet he can strike a free kick all right. To be fair,
yeah.
If there's one thing about Greenwood that is very, very good, it is his technique striking a ball.
Gary Neville refers to him as the closest I've seen since Robin van Persie to a natural finisher at the club. And Gary Neville said this a year ago. Him in front of goal, there is no one better at Old Trafford than Greenwood. Even a year ago, right? This is now. So fair enough. Cavani wasn't at the club when he said that, but still, both very good.
I wouldn't, without having evidence, just off the top of my head, I would say as well, Cavani's thing isn't necessarily finishing.
No, but he's still way better. Amazing. Yeah, but he's still a way better finisher than Rashford or Bruno the other options. But no, you're right. He's a better finisher than Martial and Rashford, isn't he?
Martial's a good finisher, although this season maybe not so much. But I'm pretty sure his XG numbers are ridiculous over time. He's never underperformed it; he's always overperformed it. This year, I think he's just not getting chances as much as he's missing chances, right?
Yeah, he's never in the positions. Leeds coming forward with Ayling on the right, fires a ball in, but if Bamford makes that near post run, he's got a tap in, but he doesn't get in front of Fred, and Fred clears. I'm looking. So, guys, I mentioned about Bamford. Tobes, is he one that you'd consider for the end of season run-in? Because you don't have a Leeds player. I mean, I've got Rafinha, which makes Bamford slightly less appealing, because I've got one. But their last 3 fixtures are really tasty. I think they're against 3 teams with nothing to play for.
Yeah, I've actually potentially got a plan to get him in. I've got Harry Kane and Iheanacho with a bench fodder as my third striking option in Davis. But Iheanacho, Leicester's fixtures switch, I think, around about 35 or 36. And there are a couple of teams, Leeds being one, I think West Ham the other, who have quite a good end to the season. So it's basically between Antonio and Bamford for me as to who I move Iheanacho to.
If Antonio's fit.
Exactly, it will come down to who's fit, who's kind of in the best form at that point. I wouldn't care to kind of make a call on it right now. Push now if I was doing it, it would probably be Bamford. There's a lot of football to be played between now and then, and we shall see. But I like Bamford, and I like Leeds' run to the end of the season as well. So all for that.
Seb, Jabesh says he's got Kane, Rafinha and Antonio, 3 flagged players. Now, I think we all probably agree on this. Which one should he sell first? Which one should he sell next week? I mean, we don't think Kane and Rafinha are going to be out as long, do we?
Ooh, Stuart Dallas just takes a shot with his left foot straight at Henderson, but decent little chance there outside the area.
Is he left-footed, Seb?
He's right-footed, but look it up.
Because he plays.
He's definitely right-footed.
He's another player that's very good on his left. Obviously, he plays left back, but he scored a couple with his left this season, I'm sure, and he hits that clean.
Yeah, no, I promise he's right-footed. Yeah. I should know the answer to that.
Where does he play? Where does he play for Northern Ireland, Seb?
In a number of positions, traditionally wing, but he's moved around for them quite a bit.
Right back.
I mean, he's possibly. So for us, he's played. When we signed him from Brentford, he was notionally a right winger. Started on the left for us, so right and left winger. Played right back, played left back. Obviously now centre mid, and he also played a game at centre back once because injuries and Bielsa. So just needs to play up front, and we'll go. Oh, and he's played behind a striker.
He's played number 10, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read
Another great product of Brentford as well. Brentford just seem to have a conveyor belt of talent coming out of that club. What on earth are you drinking, Seb? That looked like gravy.
Gravy? It's coffee.
That is a good-looking coffee, that.
It is a good-looking coffee. I take it back. At a glance, I was like, he's not drinking gravy, surely.
He's watching Leeds. Northern boys love gravy.
Just got to get the calories in, just downing the gravy.
How's the gym, Seb?
I've not gone to one yet. I've signed up because we moved, as I think we said. So I've got a free trial at one tomorrow, just down the way, and looking forward to it. I've had enough of my 30k dumbbells in my bedroom with a weights bench for a year. So good to get back to a gym and actually be able to lift something heavy.
Yeah. Are you saying 30k is not heavy?
It depends what it depends what you're doing with it, right?
It would be for me and you, Jan.
Yeah.
No, but it wouldn't. It depends what you're doing with it. You could very easily bench press or dumbbell press with it. That'd be no problem.
Right. I won't ask more gym questions. Back onto the football. Okay, yeah.
I was thinking about it just now. Who did we all captain this week? I went Salah. I think you went Salah as well, Jan. Seb, who did you go for?
I don't have Salah. I went Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Which
nearly went very well.
Yeah, I mean, he nearly scored a worldie and then conceded a goal. On the FPL show, my captain was Trent this week.
Ooh, Luke Ayling has just taken Rashford out. It's outside the area. I think he's going to get booked. Yeah, yellow card for Luke Ayling there, who is in my team, so that's a point gone. Very easy free kick there. When you see
clear
this
yellow,
just slides in. The ball is gone. Slides in, takes him out. Nowhere near the area. It's not a penalty or anything, but a similar. I think he might really do that deliberately. When you see the replay, the ball is so gone.
That's deliberate, and he knows Rashford's injured.
He just slides. He doesn't leave his leg out. He just slides with his knees at Rashford. And that is a bit naughty.
He knows Rashford's got glass ankle or he's constantly injured, isn't he?
I hope it's not for that, because I was going to say good on Luke Ayling. If it was trying to injure him, then I take it back. But
benefit the doubt. Now Luke Ayling slips as he's running into the car. Yeah,
okay.
But it's obviously still not a great challenge. But I do think if you watch his right boot, it goes from underneath him as he's careering in.
Okay, I will happily take that. That's a more pleasant narrative. I will go with that. But this is the Man United have 2 or 3 free kicks now, I think. One of which was that Maguire header. Another one was the Maguire clearance off his knee. And this one, so going into Rashford just ahead of the near post, it's cleared by Bamford over, but a dangerous one. One of those ones actually, we talk about who's trying to beat the first man. Bruno almost tries to go for that type of thing. Just put it on that near post, nice, low and whipped.
Yeah, there's a few watching without Bruno and they're hoping for that Leeds clean sheet. Squibby, I don't think that's too much to ask for. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Leeds keep a clean sheet today. Like, they have been pretty good at the back. We've seen them concede only 1 goal to Liverpool, 1 goal to City in recent weeks. They obviously got 4 points from those 2 games. But yeah, have we had that corner come in yet, Seb? 38 minutes on the clock.
Luke Shaw's just played it in now, aiming for Maguire and cleared away by Patrick Bamford again. And Leeds are on the break with Tyler Roberts taking it down the left. I think, oh no, Man United haven't quite. Yeah, they have. Okay, cool. Lindelof just takes it away from Harrison. It was bouncing around a little bit there, maybe an opportunity to break, but never quite sat down. And Tyler Roberts has given away another free kick. Very similar again, just takes him out there when the ball maybe wasn't there for him.
Bielsa's doing a Pep. It's like when we've lost possession, just take them down and concede the free kick.
What's the reason, Seb, do you think that graphic they just put up around like Leeds' well-documented inability to defend corners? Is it because Bielsa's not fussed about practicing defending them? Is it lack of height? Is it combination of the two? Like what's the deal?
So, I was just thinking about that, and I don't have the stats to hand. Maybe I'll try and find them during halftime. But it was most goals conceded from set pieces in the league, 11 this season. Yeah,
that's just from corners. So they're not from corners.
Yeah. Cool. But that number hasn't gone up in a very long time.
Right.
I think we were very poor at them earlier in the season. I don't remember the last time we conceded one from a corner.
You were head and shoulders above everyone, and now there's not much in it, right?
So yeah, exactly. So I think it's one of those, misleading ones where we conceded a load at the beginning of the season, but actually have improved a lot because we now have fit centre backs in the team. Yeah. We now have just coming in here.
You're not a tall team though, are you, Seb? You haven't got one player over 6'2", other than Melier, I don't think.
Not massively, but again, we've got fit centre backs now who are decent in the air. Strelkers. Melier has been instructed to come for things now. I think we spoke last time we watched Leeds
3 weeks
where
ago.
Melier just comes and clears everything out. So yeah, I mean, hey, maybe we'll concede today, but it's a lot better than it was from set pieces.
Yeah, we've been asked.
We concede a lot of them as well. Sorry, we concede a lot of set piece chances as well. So like the ratios improved a lot too. Like today, you've seen how many wide free kicks and corners we've given away. So in terms of goals conceded per set pieces conceded, we're probably not doing too badly at all.
RG23 asks about the final top four. We will answer that in half time, RG23. We're going to be talking a little bit about the cup final. We're going to be previewing Spurs City, but also we're going to give our thoughts on who goes down, who gets top four. I mean, the who goes down conversation probably won't happen. We don't want to waste time on that one. It's probably pretty set. I don't think there's going to be any differences of opinion there, unfortunately, because we all love Fulham, but they're probably dead and buried. So yeah, hang around for 5 minutes and you'll catch that chat. I'm very excited off the back of yesterday's result, but we'll talk more about that in 5. Sebi must be pretty confident after this first half. You've not been troubled, really.
Do I recall that Man United score the majority of their goals in the second half? Something like that.
They score the majority of their goals in the last 5 minutes, don't they?
You mean after the time whistle's gone, when penalties are given?
They score most of their goals when the game is when that. I feel like if United are winning a game, say they're 1-0 up or 2-1 up, and then the other team is pushing, there is no better team in the league than United countering against very few men defensively. So they'll often make a very tight 2-1 game, will finish 4-1 because they scored twice in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It happened last week or the week before, and it happens a lot.
That's reasonable. Our numbers are better in the second half as well. Bielsa, as we know, often makes changes at halftime. Man United are better in the second half, from what I recall. So we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic at the moment, but I wouldn't say it's we haven't exactly created any clear-cut chances ourselves.
True. Yeah, there's been a Dallas that has had 2 efforts from the edge of the box. Other than that, I can't remember one. Tobes, we didn't do predictions today. Now we're 41 minutes in. Let's all do one. What are you going for?
So if you'd have asked me before the game, I genuinely fancied the draw. I reckon I'd have gone for a 1-1. And yeah, I still kind of quite fancy that. I don't think Leeds are going to lose this game, but I don't think they're going to win it either. So yeah, I'd go 1-1. You
like a draw, don't you, Tobes? You've got quite a good record of calling draws.
Yeah, I do. If ever I put a bet on football, I'll often pick 3 teams and 3 draws. It has to be good odds. And yeah, I reckon I'm reasonably good at doing it. But yeah, I fancy the draw today. What about you guys?
Seb?
Before the match, I probably would have said 2-1 to Man United, although partially just because, then when we win, it feels good. At the moment, yeah, I can't look beyond what Tobes has said. A draw, whether 0-0, whether 1-1, I don't think we're going to see 3 or 4 goals in the second half, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to go 0-0, but I shouldn't be saying that because I want you guys to keep watching. We're going to get lots of goals, lots of chances, but you're watching to hear our great FPL chat, not just for the game, right?
Do you think we maybe see Pogba introduced sooner rather than later in the second half?
I think he must have had a knock, surely, to not be starting today.
He's on the bench. I think Solskjaer just went with, this worked last time, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And like I said, without looking at how Leeds have changed, and I think so far that's been poor from him.
Did
think
anyone...
we will see Pogba.
Oh, coming to you, Seb. There's been a bit of action, I think.
Oh no!
Keep your eyes off the chat, everyone. Keep your eyes off the chat.
Maguire's played it over the top, although Llorente's dealt
Oh,
with that
sorry.
easily.
There's not been.
Oh no?
No,
Okay,
sorry.
fair enough.
Absolute tease.
Absolute tease.
Just-
Do you know what it was?
Yeah.
I asked for score predictions, you guys, and of course I want you guys in the chat to give score predictions. So
Somebody went 1-0.
Evan went 1-0 Ailing goal, and I was like, and then after that he put prediction, and I was like, damn.
When you said that, when Maguire had the ball at the back and was playing it over the top, I was like, oh no, that's the ball that will take us apart.
That's just it. Because I don't think we're going to be on a lag. I think Seb's so far ahead on the stream today that, and that's a very good point by ABJ. Pogba's fasting, and we have seen that a lot with players in Ramadan. Although this isn't a late game, we've seen players with evening kickoffs rested more. Salah, for example, was dropped for a later game in the day. But yeah, maybe Pogba fasting did have something to do with it.
I genuinely think Solskjaer has gone with what he went with last time, which is not a terrible tactic. And I think we will see Pogba in a second. A great point on the fasting, to be fair. But if I was Solskjaer, which I'm not, and I'm nowhere near, but Pogba's probably the one that can unlock our press more than any other player in their team. So I was surprised, and I think we will see him.
He's also been United's best player in the last month, for me.
Yeah.
He's been so good.
Did either of you two see the article recently on Sky about Solskjaer talking about his man management? So he largely came out and kind of went, I make no secret of the fact I don't do much on the pitch. I leave that to like Carrick and the other coaches. I'm basically here to like big the players up, try and get the best out of them, which it sounds like he's very, very good at doing. But yeah, he kind of basically said, like, reading between the lines, I'm not actually that, I don't rate myself as that much of a coach. I'm a hype man.
Marcus Rashford with a free kick. It's a long way out. He takes it very, very nicely. Good save from Melio, but I'd like to see a replay on how close that was.
I bet that swerved all over the place the way Rashford hits it, Seb, because that was looked quite central.
It's a good save. I mean, in the end, I think it just swerves away. Yeah, just on the replay from behind Rashford is really nice. You see it swerve away at the end. It's a really good save. Maybe one that I say he should make it. If that goes in, you probably just go great free kick. It's savable, but it's a really good save.
You say that, Seb, but because he's 6'4", we say it's savable. Jordan Pickford gets nowhere near that. Genuinely, I think he gets fingertips best case. He doesn't get a firm hand out. He can't.
That might be fair. That might be fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I like Melier now. Now I know he's 6'4", I like him way better. We discussed it a few weeks ago, didn't we? Because he's a really good shot stopper. If he can improve his coming for crosses, and he is told to come, but he flaps it a lot, then I think he'll be a really good keeper.
Yeah, maybe. That's an interesting one, because we've discussed this before. So no doubt that sometimes he comes and you go, oh dear. But two things there. He keeps coming, so fair play.
Confident.
And he's been told to do it. So if he's coming for things, if you just asked him, would you come for this? He would say no. How many does that cut out the flapping? Like if you asked, I don't know, Alisson. If you asked Alisson to come for every single cross or corner that he possibly could, would we suddenly start seeing him flapping because he's coming for stuff he shouldn't be coming for? So I don't know. I'm not saying he's super commanding under the high ball, but I don't know how much is just him and how much he's forced upon him because of what has been asked of him.
Yeah, fair point. It's 0-0, half time. The closest we've come to a goal was probably right at the end there. I mean, we did have a Greenwood header in the first couple of minutes, and loads of you out there probably got Greenwood in. Loads of you are on Bruno captain. Bruno, by the way, hasn't had a sniff. Been very quiet. We've not seen much goal mouth action on either side, as I said. But we are at half time. So let's turn our attention to a little preview, Toby. I'm going to come to you first. What should we know about later? Is there any way Spurs, out of nowhere, maybe against a couple of players rested against City, not a weakened Man City, there is no such thing. But could we see a sneak Spurs, could they smash and grab or?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think we could. Obviously, in a one-off game, Spurs still potentially on the kind of new manager bounce as well. I've seen a real division in people kind of going, can't believe they've sacked Mourinho, a few days before a final. That's what Mourinho does. But equally, if you read about how divided it sounds like the dressing room was, you've also got players like Harry Kane and Bale who kind of grew up playing with Ryan Mason. Like we forget they were his peers. Ryan Mason's 29 years old. And yeah, you kind of get that sense that they really want to do it for Ryan Mason. So I do kind of understand it. But yeah, as I said earlier, I think this kind of hinges quite a lot on Harry Kane. If Harry Kane doesn't play, I would say we've got very, very limited chances at all. If Harry Kane plays, we've got a chance. But yeah, it's one of those games. Man City are one of the best teams in the world. There's no doubt about that. Even with their B team out, they're probably a better team than Spurs are. So yeah, Spurs are going to need a large chunk of luck. Like we think back to the Champions League run in 2019. We got past Man City over 2 legs, but had what you'd call probably a pretty large slice of luck in that. I think City missed a penalty, that big VAR incident at the end. Yeah, it'll probably need something like that. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes. Yeah, I've got no expectations. I just feel like we're kind of making up the numbers in some respects, but that's probably me wanting that down. When we do win it, I the big and look brilliant.
Seb, what do you reckon? Would you give Spurs I mean, you'd always give them a chance, but can you see anything but a City win?
I mean, realistically, no. Even with Harry Kane, I guess I don't know if irony is the right word, but the irony of this is that if you wanted Jose Mourinho for one match, it would be this one, right? So without Mourinho, sure, Spurs, could have the players to nick this, but I would think the manager that would mastermind that would be Mourinho, not Ryan Mason. So I don't know, you probably know more about Mason and more about how Spurs have played since, Tobes, but it doesn't feel like things are in the right place for Spurs to pull off one of those, one match upsets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we've only had one game under Ryan Mason, and that was against Southampton. And to be frank, we were terrible in the first half of Mason's first game against Southampton. We were rubbish. We did come out and play much better in the second half, but obviously Southampton are a different cat of fish than Man City, and Southampton have been pretty woeful of late. So it's a game that you would fully have expected Spurs to win. But yeah, it kind of feels like one of those where Ryan Mason's job isn't really going to be to do anything tactical in this game. It's like I was talking about earlier with Ollie. He's basically the hype man. He's there to big all the players up and say, look, this is your one shot to kind of salvage anything out of this season. Really, go out there and yeah, leave it all on the pitch and every other kind of horrendous football cliche that you get. And see what you get. They're all professional footballers. If we have a good day, if it all lines up, you got a chance. But yeah, I don't see it, to be honest with you, unfortunately.
Di Matteo did it. He wouldn't be the first manager that comes in and wins a final just from being the hype man. Like we saw it against Bayern Munich in 2012 when Chelsea won the champs. The night before the game, Di Matteo had a video made of all of the players' wives going, "You're amazing. We can't wait to watch you in the final tomorrow." And he played it in the dressing room 45 minutes before. Those little things. And then John Terry probably did all the instruction. You just never know. I mean, what I would say, that second half against Southampton, Tobes, first half was dreadful, and second half, Ings went off, Southampton looked tired. But Spurs had 70% plus possession, I think. And I've not seen a Spurs half of football with 70% plus possession in the last 18 months, right? It doesn't happen. So, and Bale's post-match comments about, what did you do today that you've not been doing in recent weeks? He said about being on the front foot, being more attacked, like little jibes at Mourinho. I think we will see Son, Bale, Kane, maybe even Lucas, but if not, and Ndombele or Lo Celso slightly higher up, they will have a go today.
Yeah. The only trouble with that is, and this kind of comes back to the Mourinho situation again, obviously one of Mourinho's best games at Spurs was this season where we beat City 2-0. And it was one of those where it was like the classic Mourinho performance, shut up shop for a half, and scored 2 really good goals on the counter, and everyone went, what, like Mourinho masterclass. That kind of feels like the way that if you are going to win this, it's got to be that kind of game. And I almost feel like Ryan Mason's going to come in. He's going to want to try and play the Spurs way, and he's going to want to have a go. But that kind of feeds into Man City's hands a little bit because they're better all over the park than we are. And I slightly fear that we go down, 3-4-0, trying to play that way, trying to be aggressive, trying to be on the front foot, and they just play around the press and they open us up. Whereas, Mourinho wouldn't have played that way. We know that. He'd have tried to have been solid. Probably wouldn't have worked anyway because our defence is pretty pony. But yeah, I mean, it literally is on the result, isn't it? If Spurs win this cup final, everyone goes, Ryan Mason, what a brilliant appointment. If we don't, everyone goes, oh, probably should have kept Mourinho. And even then, you don't know if Mourinho probably would have lost the final had he been in charge. So yeah, it's just all about the result.
Yeah. I mean, if you go toe to toe with Man City, you lose.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there is a team in the world.
Leeds 2 weeks ago, Seb. They went toe to toe, no?
Did we go toe to toe with them, or did we have a man sent off and get massively forced back by them and score from 2 shots on target?
Yeah, I mean the goal came from a massive counter attack. Yeah, fair.
Don't get me wrong. We didn't go for sort of the classic Stoke or something, really sit back and just long balls or whatever. But that was fortunate. That was a fortunate result. We went toe-to-toe with Liverpool. That's different. But, we've seen Liverpool aren't quite the team they were in the past. I think the only team, maybe PSG, but...
Sorry, it's Napoli.
Oh, I mean, currently. Yeah, maybe in the past, Napoli.
They went toe-to-toe with City, and Pep came out and said, this is the best team I've ever played against. But I'm pretty sure over the 2 legs, it was a group stages. But yeah, City had the better of them. And it's like, you're saying this is the best team you've ever played against, and you've just beaten them, Pep. Like, that's just Pep, isn't it?
The arrogance.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we
just
saw,
battered them, but they're the best team ever.
We saw that sort of Sarri, Tuchel-ish sort of shape and style can work against City because it has done recently.
Yeah.
But then, we're talking about Spurs. I'm not sure Spurs have that in them, unfortunately.
There's no defensive discipline there. Like realistically, it'll be a back 4 today. If we think Mason's going to do what he did against Southampton, he goes with the 4 at the back. Dyer and Toby in a back 2. I mean, it's going to be we'll have team news for you in half an hour. It's going to be really exciting.
Do you think he'll play a back 4 today? I've got an inkling he might go for a back 5.
If he was going to play back 5, surely in his first game he would have trialled that formation.
Possibly, yeah. I just think it's 2 entirely different games playing against. I think if he'd have come in and played a back 5 against Saints, everyone would have gone, "What the hell are you playing at? It's Southampton. You got to go and attack them. Got to go and press." And like in a way, it almost would have been better if Ryan Mason's first game was against, like a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a City. Obviously not City, but yeah, then you would have kind of gone, this is how he's going to set up for a big game. Because I do think he certainly should be setting up differently against Southampton than he should be against Man City.
Do you think a back 5 with Spurs personnel actually works against City? Because let's say Kane is fit,
no,
Kane bails on. I think you just massively seed the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost an impossible task, isn't it? Whichever way you play, you can make a case for playing a back 5 and seeding the midfield. Sounds like suicide, but equally then playing a back 4 and not having the protection when we've got pretty fragile defenders also seems like difficult. But again, it's all going to be kind of in hindsight, isn't it? Things are going to happen and everyone's going to go, "Oh, why didn't you play a back 5?" Things are going to and the opposite is true. They're going to go, "Oh, why didn't we play a back 4?" And yeah, I just think ultimately we've got to accept the fact that City are a damn good team and are going to have the lion's share of possession. And it's no shame losing to this City team. I don't think there's going to be some great steward's inquiry to, sort out why we didn't tactically do one thing or played a certain formation. And I think Ryan Mason's going to get away with that because everyone's going to accept that and go, it's the second game in. City are a better team. Like, what do you want him to do?
And he's a caretaker boss. He doesn't need to go and do anything. It's not like he's going to get the job if he does really well. He's not. One thing I'd say why Spurs will play a back 4 today is, Seb and I discussed this 2 weeks ago when we did a Spurs game, Tobes. You weren't on the Scoutcast Matchday that episode because it was a Spurs game, but Spurs have not got the centre-backs that can play left centre-back and right centre-back. They are centre-backs that don't want to be caught out in spaces. And Seb, I don't know if you remember, we spoke about the centre-backs that are good at that. And, as Palaqueta is the best at it, Rudiger is comfortable in wide positions, just looking at Chelsea. But centre-backs often don't want to defend in those full-back areas, which you're dragged into if you're playing left or right centre-back. Anyway, guys, let's look at top 4. Let's look at the positive news. Seb, who's going to get top 4? Give me 4 teams. Well, give me 2 teams. We know who's number 1 and 2, the Manchester clubs. Who's going to finish 3rd and 4th?
I was going to say, give me 2 teams. Okay.
Liverpool got cracking fixtures, but another more drop points yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you'd say Liverpool, but then they've dropped points to Newcastle. I don't know how much better their fixtures can be if you're going to get them 3 points. I think Chelsea. And I mean, should we go for someone like West Ham? Do we think they can keep that up? Oh, obviously,
not Leicester.
Not great yesterday. Leicester concern me in a bit similar to last season. Missing a few key players, coming back now, but the season maybe losing a little bit of that momentum, a little bit of the shape they've had. I don't know if they maintain it. And off the top of my head, as Tobes mentioned earlier, their fixtures get a little bit tougher after 34 or so. So if they go into the final 3 weeks needing, say, 7 points, I wonder if they end up just missing. I'd love it if they did.
It's really the kind of permutation really exciting. Like, yeah, you think Leeds are nailed on, but then, yeah, like you say, their final 3 fixtures, Man United, Chelsea and Tottenham, they could all be incredibly important. You look at Liverpool, good fixtures on paper. Chelsea actually don't have what you describe as an easy run. I don't think you're looking at Fulham next up, not too bad. Man City, Arsenal, Leicester, then Villa on the final day. Like none of those are like Fulham. You'd expect them to win.
And Villa,
City,
and Villa.
like none of those are gimmies, right? Like Spurs have actually got reasonable fixtures: Sheffield United, Leeds, Wolves, Villa, Leicester. That game, Spurs Leicester on the final game of the season, could be telling. I think though it's difficult to look past Chelsea, isn't it? At the moment, they're not conceding any goals. They're nicking goals.
The fixtures don't matter too much. It's Chelsea. We don't concede. We've just beat City. We've done Porto over 2 legs. We'll beat Real Madrid. The fixture doesn't bother me. Like the Brighton fixture was harder for Chelsea the other day, and we did drop points.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, it just changes game by game, doesn't it? Every game week, we're going to talk about it at the end and suddenly go, oh, now Liverpool look like favourites because they've won 5-0, Chelsea lost, Spurs lost, or like whatever permutation happens, you almost completely revise your opinion based on one game.
If you asked me before this weekend, I would have said Liverpool. It's just that dropping points to Newcastle. And like, it's not like when they dropped points, they were stupidly unlucky. Like I think they deserve to win. But it's not like there should have been a 6 or 7-0 there and it was something super dodgy or whatever. Like we've seen Liverpool do that a bit. In fact, even the season when they won the title, they were brilliant that season. But there were an awful lot of games. I remember an Everton game, for example, where they just snuck it by 1 goal and didn't necessarily deserve to do that as often as they did. It's almost the other way around now, where those ones are coming back to bite them, where they're losing out on games by 1 goal when maybe they've been better or not. And if they don't turn that around, even with the easy fixtures, obviously they're not going to gather the points they need. What are they, 4 points behind? So they need Chelsea, Leicester, or West Ham. Chelsea in 4th with 58, Liverpool on 54, same number of games played. So yeah, they need someone, or Leicester needs to drop 5, or Chelsea needs to drop 4 for them to get in. Liverpool are going to need to take close to maximum points, which before yesterday I'd say they probably could. I'm not so certain. So then I maybe think a bit like Tobes. It's just a case of where does the West Ham have good fixtures, okay, a poor result, but they're probably in okay form out of those. If just through the fact that that's when the fixtures end, they'll happen to be 4th, I could see it.
Yeah, Samant says Man United first, Man City second, Chelsea third, West Ham fourth. And then Samant, you asked, we guys think Man United got a chance in the title? We're tight on time, and even if we weren't, we wouldn't be discussing it. It's absolutely nailed. City have won the league, right? Okay, so give me 2 names for your top 4. Seb, 2 names.
I'll give you Chelsea, and then Tobes can pick the last one.
Yeah, I think it'd be Leicester. I think they'll sneak in. Well, just very quickly to add, like, are we possibly overlooking Everton here? They've got the game in hand. If they win that game in hand, they go up to 55 points level with West Ham, which is only 3 points behind Chelsea, having played the same number of games. Everton are definitely in the mixer. Their fixtures aren't bad. They got City the last game of the season, but Villa, West Ham, Sheffield United, Wolves before that, they're all winnable games. Like Everton could be in the mix at the end of the season. I really think that.
There's massive celebrations from Ancelotti and the team when they beat Arsenal. It was celebrations saying we're still in this. That's for sure. Like they were really, it wasn't just a normal celebration for beating Arsenal. That's not a massive scalp anymore. But it was we could still make top 4. But yeah, it's going to be. It's not going to be wrapped up by the final day of the season, that's for sure. West Ham, Leicester, Liverpool, Everton could be 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. And it could go down to... I mean, Spurs I've not even mentioned. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be some really interesting final week or 2, I think. Game week 37 and 38 are going to be brilliant.
I really hope it is one of them. Like, nothing to do with all the stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks. Just, if we're going to have a cool race for the top 4 like this, I really hope it isn't just Liverpool. Because then it almost feels like, what was the point? Leicester, West Ham, Everton, I really hope it is one of them.
Goal difference will maybe be that extra point. Like, goal difference effectively becomes a point. That could be massive. Chelsea are on, I think, plus 19 or 21. Like, theirs is good. So those with a really bad goal difference, effectively, that could be minus 1 point.
I think also, even though they're seemingly unrelated, I would suggest if Spurs lose the cup final today, that will also end their top 4 tilt. Because I think the kind of hangover from that, they'll be looking today as like, this is the last chance to clinch anything out of the season, win it, and they'll go, that'll be the confidence to go on and have a really good run to the end of the year. Lose it, and it's like, feels like season's over, and I think you'll see Spurs drop off quite heavily, which is the most likely thing, I think.
Guys, we've got kick-off in the second half. So just to summarise on that chat, we're saying Chelsea and Leicester, the current top 4, will probably take it. And I'm with Seb. 2 weeks before this weekend's games, I would have said Liverpool because their fixtures are so good. They've also got a week off every week. No Champions League football, no Europa League, no not any of the cups. Liverpool never get time on the training ground. They never get a rest, and they should be fresh every weekend. But yeah, they're still dropping points, as we saw against Newcastle. So teams are out, 45 minutes in and 29, 30, 31 I'm on. Seb, are you still a few seconds ahead?
39, 40, 41.
Great, couple of seconds ahead. There's been no changes, as you know, you wouldn't expect any. I do think we'll see Pogba for United if things stay the same. He'd be the obvious one. Who'd be the obvious one to come off the Leeds bench, Seb? Because I mentioned Poveda. I've got a bit of a soft spot for him, but will he get game? I mean, he's been coming on a sort of second or third sub.
Yeah, we regularly, even when Rafinha's fit, we regularly make a substitution wide, whether it's Harrison coming off. So I would expect to see Poveda for Harrison or Costa. Poveda is better on the left, but can play on either side. But we saw last match, Harrison did go right. So could be either. Maybe it will depend on the first 10, 15 minutes of this half.
Yeah, a couple in the chat mentioned Harrison earlier. It was a bit of a differential. I think someone actually, brought him in this week. He's been looking. His numbers aren't too shabby. Of course,
I think the only thing with him is if you had to have three Leeds players, it's very clearly Dallas, Rafinha, and Bamford. So going Harrison is either because you can't get one of those other three, or you're trying to be different, and that could be absolutely fair enough. But I just think there are a few teams where you just go, these are the three, and why would I do something different?
Yeah. Tobes, anything on Harry Kane watch?
I'm literally just on Twitter now, scrolling through, trying to find anything, and I can't. No updates. But yeah, we will have proper team news in 25 minutes. So watch this space.
Love that. Ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. There'll be loads of Bruno captainers watching this game going, I can't see where his point's going to come from. But just for those that are Bruno captainers, don't be worried. You don't have to see Bruno involved in football matches for him to come away with points. He just finds a way. So fingers crossed for you. Out of nowhere, United can turn it on and score most of their goals in the second half, but so can Bruno.
Worth seeing those couple of little half chance they've had pieces. Luke taking them from one side, Bruno from the other. The Greenwood header straight at Melia in the first few minutes was from a Bruno set piece. So, like you say, he doesn't have to be doing anything to just put the ball on someone's head from a set piece, does he?
Yeah.
Jan, changing the subject slightly or going back to Harry Kane, you were a Harry Kane seller, weren't you, this week?
Yes.
With the fixture run they've got, Sheffield United next, I think even if Harry Kane isn't fit for this final, which I think he is, he's going to be fit for Sheffield United. Do you worry about that? Is going without Kane, who is a very good captain option for that fixture run they've got, is that a concern?
No, it's really not, it should be. I mean, obviously, in an ideal world, I have Harry Kane for Sheffield United, but I knew by selling him, I would be going without the most popular captain pick of the
Man
game.
United are in... they were in, I think they've kind of messed it up there. I'm not sure if there was a through ball. I'm not sure if Bruno Fernandes was offside, so left it for Dan James. But they've possibly got in each other's way, and it's been it may even have gone out for a goal kick.
Or was Dan James offside and left it for Bruno? Neither of them wanted it.
Yeah, Dan James takes the touch. I don't think either of them were actually offside.
No, they're both on.
There must have been a shout. Dan James takes the touch, possibly just slightly miscontrols it. Bruno runs across it, leaves it, and then Luke Ayling gets in and clears it away. That is a
really, really nice bit of play from Greenwood, actually. That little turn in the middle, like one touch, bang, played a really good ball. And yeah, Dan James has taken a horrid touch there and turned what should have been a really good chance into nothing.
They're still arguing about it, Bruno and Dan James. Like, Bruno's not happy, and rightly so. Well, or maybe Dan James shouldn't be happy, but, they did definitely get in each other's way. You don't often see that. They were clean through.
It's interesting. So does that, statistically, does that count as Mason Greenwood having created a big chance, even though there was no shot at goal? Does there have to have been like a shot at goal?
Yes.
For it to count as a chance?
It depends on obviously what metric you're using, because I think we've discussed before that like big chances are actually subjective. Yeah. That's not based on like XG or anything. It's just a person saying this is a big chance. Yeah. And then I think depending on the model, so I think the Opta model actually then factors in if the person said it was a big chance to XG.
Because it's kind of unfair, isn't it? Because like Greenwood has played an absolutely great through ball there, and if Dan James, who's a professional footballer, takes a relatively good touch, he's clean through and should score that probably 6-7 times out of 10. But because he's taken a crap touch,
there's a few models that would consider that. So XA, for example, expected assists, the one we normally talk about is basically just taking XG back a step and looking at the pass. But there's actually a more complex model which looks at every single pass and how likely that is to result in a goal. So you could have a sideway pass on the halfway line that might have like a 0.0001 XA because sometimes someone lobs a keeper from there. So that model, Greenwood's pass would have probably come out quite nicely because passes like that often result in goals, or more often than other types of passes. But if you're just looking at was like a chance created in terms of a shot, yeah, that's going to come out as nothing.
Yeah. What I would say is Bruno with a chance, but yeah, blocked by the Leeds defence. What I would say is last night, Salah went from nowhere near the bonus to 2 bonus points. And that is because he was given a big chance awarded for a ball he put through to Mane, which wasn't originally given as a big chance, but then Opta changed it late in the day to a big chance. That's a prime example. I don't know why it wasn't originally given. I didn't watch the game and I don't know what chance they're referring to. Can you guys shed any light on that? Did you see that?
I didn't actually watch the game, so I'm going to offer you nothing here.
Yeah. I did watch it, but I don't recall that. I mostly recall Salah missing
end of the first
2 big
half,
chances
I think
himself.
They said it was. I think they said end of the first half, and Mane fluffed his lines or something. But whatever, it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Salah took it down the right and sort of cut back, left it over to Mane, who then, I think he took 1 too many touches, and it ended up getting blocked away. Yeah, fair enough. That probably... Again, it's so subjective, because I think, if I recall, it wasn't Mane missing the target. I think it actually got blocked.
Right.
So then, was it a big chance because it was closed out? I mean, hence the subjectivity, right?
It was 4 hours later.
I don't like that big chances are subjective. I mean, I don't mind about the bonus points. Fair enough. That's how the system works. Fair enough. But in terms of big chances, I'd prefer they were based on a objective metric like everything else. Even if then, that objectivity can be wrong. For example, if someone doesn't take a shot, it doesn't count as a chance. At least that's consistent. At least we know that all the way through and can factor it in.
Yeah. Going back very quickly to Toby's question to me about Harry Kane, and Samantha said it in the chat. The reason I was happy to go without him was, one, I looked at the 3 games, and when I can either have Vardy in with 3 really nice fixtures or Kane with 2 good fixtures, and also knowing Kane was injured and will 100% be starting and will confirm that in 19 minutes time, I just thought there's a chance he picks up another knock on an ankle and could be out anyway, or there's a chance he's just not match fit and he isn't very sharp for Sheffield United. We've seen in the past Kane come back from injury and it's taken him a couple of games. There's also the idea of knowing, yes, everyone will be captaining Kane, but I will be buying either Son or probably Bale. I'm selling Bruno next week and therefore will probably captain that player, and I'll back Bale to outscore, if not, or match Kane anyway. So yeah, I'm fine with it, and I only really want one Spurs attack, and everyone's on Son and Kane, and at my rank I need a differential, so Bale next week is nailed.
Yeah, I quite like the Bale shout. I think if I owned Son, which I do, I wouldn't be moving Son to Bale, but if I owned neither and was getting one of them in, I think I'd go for Bale.
Me too.
Yeah,
100%. And he's going to start. Bale will play. I was speaking to Andy on my team reveal video in the week, and he was like, "Oh, what about Bale's minutes?" I was like, "This is not Bale under Mourinho. This is Bale." Ryan Mason had posters of Bale on his bedroom wall, for God's sake. He will play 90 or 80 to 90 minutes every week now.
Yeah, it's also a no-lose situation for Ryan Mason because the fans are all banged to see Gareth Bale on the pitch. If Bale plays and Spurs don't do well, Mason can kind of go, this is why he's not been playing that many minutes. But yeah, no one's going to be unhappy seeing Gareth Bale play 80 minutes every game week.
Yeah,
I still think he gets subbed off earlier, but like you say, I think he probably starts every match. And if I had Leeds close-ish, there's one that won't go down as a chance. Helder Costa with the ball across the face, probably inside the 6-yard box. And no one gets anything on the end of it, but we had Bamford coming in and Harrison, I believe, on the far side as well.
It's a really just past both of them. It's a really good ball, isn't it?
Oof. Yeah, just a little bit ahead of Bamford, really. He wasn't really moving for it. You can see on the second replay.
Lovely ball from Dallas, actually, who played the ball before the ball that got put across the box. Lovely little dink.
William saying he hates Chris Wood. Guys, loads of you are gutted you don't have Chris Wood. I can't believe it. No one does. It's fine. His effective ownership was 2% owned. Sometimes players that aren't highly owned will go and get mega hauls. That's great. Fair play.
I've just seen on Twitter, though, Joe Prenter has tweeted that he forgot the deadline was on Friday. So he had Harry Kane as his captain and Wood as his vice captain. So well done you.
That is unbelievable.
I think you were saying earlier, Gianni, that picking Chris Wood for this block of fixtures or whatever, and with his stats, perfectly fine pick. If I gave you a free hit today, would you have put Chris Wood in your team away at Wolves?
I mean, Wolves have been brilliant at the back.
So.
They've been really good in recent week, Wolves. They've been getting clean. People are targeting Wolves defenders at the moment.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those that if you had them, fair enough, especially if you picked it a while ago. But in terms of targeting today, it's probably nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly that.
Big result for Burnley, actually, though, in the scheme of the league, isn't that? I think that's mathematically safe, is it? No, not mathematically, but as good as, I think. they're not going down.
Yeah.
They're 36 points and a few 14s between them and the drop. So
Yeah.
Oh, William says he meant to say I have Chris Wood. It's the best day of my life, Janny. Fair play, and rightly so. Good job for having him. So, Seb, how's your team shaping up, and what's your strategy moving forward? You got any hits left? Have you got any chips left? I've got a free hit. I can't remember if you do too.
I have the free hit.
I thought you did. So you're planning a double, are you?
We'll be using that around the double.
You want to use that in the double or the blank, or are you waiting on fixtures?
It depends how the team lines up. Oh, Rashford shot there from the edge of the area, came to nothing, blocked. Yeah, it depends on the fixtures, doesn't it, really? So it depends how many players I'm either going to be able to get for the double or lose for the blank, whichever one I think will bring me the most points. Probably use the free hit for the double, because all else being equal, it's a lot more fun to free hit in players that are playing twice than free hit in players who aren't playing. So
higher ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And those with the blanks, like, we don't know, and we can't really even speculate. Like, we know there's people out there on Twitter that are really accurate.
Bruno Fernandes just went quite close. I thought it was going to be left Dan James. It's a ball pulled back across the area from Wan-Bissaka, I believe, low across the floor. Dan James goes for it, leaves it, I think. And Bruno quite wide in the end. It's dragged quite wide.
I love that Dan James just leaves it because he's like, I'm not getting in your way again, mate.
I thought for a second, that was going to be when it just set up and I was like, oh, Bruno's going to tuck this away. But
that is a good chance, actually.
Yeah,
he probably should be putting that away, I think.
Should be hitting the target. I mean, you've got to work the keeper there, haven't you, with Bruno's talent?
There was a nice little gap there. Yeah.
Was it maybe Pascal Stroke? I think, just came across the front of him. Maybe gave him a little bit less time than he thought he had. But yeah, like you say, it's a good chance.
Yeah, it really is. And Wan-Bissaka looks like he's down, but oh no, they've played on. Looks like it's going to be fine. Attempts. United have had 12 attempts, but when you look at those, and Leeds 3, no quality attempts. Like, from those 12, 2 have been on target, and neither would be seen as a big chance. I don't think the Greenwood header was a big chance from that set piece early, possibly.
Oh no, it surely can't be. Headers are rarely big chances anyway, and it was just he was in a group of bodies. He did with it well, but I don't think it really would count as a big chance.
So those 2 on target have been the Greenwood header and the Rashford free kick from 30 yards. So yeah, very low expected goals in this game from both sides. It'll be really interesting to see that metric by post match. But it wouldn't surprise me if it finishes both teams on 0 point something.
Yeah, I mean we haven't seen too much creativity. I think Man United have just edged possession. We've seen they've had more shots, but possibly nothing too dangerous. Leeds haven't really created much. A couple of, Helder Costa cutting it back. We've had the Dallas long shots. There was one in the first half where it was played over to Bamford and maybe the Luke Shaw handball. But other than that, I don't think we've really had a clear opportunity to have a go at goal.
Harry Kane is in the squad. Harry Kane is being pictured wandering in with the rest of the team. The man is starting all day long, isn't he?
If he's in the squad, he starts, surely.
Yeah. So... is he in a suit, Toes? What's the dress today?
Is in a suit. He's in a Hugo Boss number, which I know you'd be a fan of.
Nice. I love that they've come in suits for, and rightly so, it's a cup final at Wembley, like I would for a League Cup final. But I wonder if Man City will be in suits for it. As it's just a League Cup. They'll be in their tracksuits, wouldn't they?
Almost certainly, yeah. That'd be quite funny, actually.
I bet Pep's not even in a suit.
No, probably not. The Spurs boys don't get a chance to do this very often. But yeah, but for Pep, it's like 3 or 4 times a year, isn't it? So.
When do you think the DVD will be out?
Depends how we get on. If we win, it'll be out tomorrow.
Oh, brilliant. Shame that Amazon aren't doing their fly on the wall this season, because it would have been really interesting around the Mourinho sacking, the Ryan Mason appointment, and the cup final and the Kane injuries. Although it was pretty interesting last season as well, wasn't it? I
honestly reckon there would be a market for pretty much every team. Like, certainly the big teams that have huge fan bases. Like, every season there would be huge interest in like a fly on the wall documentary. Because every single season there's such interesting stuff that happens. Like, I'd pay money to watch it every year. It'd be brilliant.
I would, but maybe the teams just don't want it because they go, no, you can't put a value on that. Yeah.
Yeah, the teams like media people would just be like so busy, and it'd be a nightmare having to try and retain a bit of control over what gets seen and what doesn't. Yeah, one-offs is all it's going to be, I think.
I love every time the Lions tour, they do a fly on the wall for that, and it's brilliant. I just recently watched the last tour of New Zealand where they ended in a draw, which shouldn't have been possible. And watching that back is amazing because you get all the changing room stuff, and yeah, it's brilliant value. And obviously, being rugby players, you get a lot of good content from the players too.
Those ones are a bit special as well because, like you say, they're less often, and it's players coming together from so many different places, so many interesting stories, and it is very much I guess the fly on the wall documentary for a Premier League team, Championship team, whatever, going through the season is interesting, but it has much more that sort of, well, by definition, right, a rugby tour. It's school. You're going on tour with your mates around New Zealand or whatever. It has something a little bit special about it as well.
Yeah. Oh, I've just seen a save from a Greenwood shot. I actually missed it, but I can see Melier's got his balls on hand.
He's what?
He's got the ball in his hands. It's Greenwood was in with a little bit of space, and yeah, look, I mean, it's a shot from the angle and comfortable
on his favourite left foot as well.
He went near post.
Yeah.
I think that might have been offside had he actually scored that.
Yeah, it was. I think would have been close. It would have been lines in the pitch.
See, that's annoying though, because Melier will get the save point for that, and it was probably offside.
And Greenwood won't get the minus points for being offside as well.
True.
You're right. It's VAR damaging FPL. This is the most egregious thing about it.
Yeah, this is why we don't like VAR for the -1 in the BPS.
So just after Helder Costa could have played Bamford in, Man United have got a chance. Once again, messed it up. Dan James, I think. So Helder Costa, I thought, could have played Bamford in, and then from Man United collecting that, there's a ball down the right, probably a bit wide for Rashford. At first, I thought he might have been on goal. Plays it across nicely to Dan James, who, for want of a better phrase, just trips over the ball.
So doesn't Alioski get a tackle there from behind? In the box, it looks a really good tackle.
Helder Costa has just gone very close. I think it takes the deflection. It's a nice shot from the angle. It's one of those where reminds me almost of like a Van Persie or something, just lines up perfectly. You want him to hit it with that dipping technique that you've said. And I think it might just take a deflection, which carries it over. It
dips so quickly at the end, Toes. Wait till you see this, the way the ball dips. It must have taken a nick.
Oh, yeah.
It comes off Wan-Bissaka, yeah.
Big nick off Wan-Bissaka. How do we reckon? I reckon it's who's going to be on for bonus points. And a 0-0, it's always quite tricky, isn't it? Without looking, tell me who you boys think's on for bonus.
A Leeds defender.
In that case, it's going to be possession and recoveries and whatnot. So like a Calvin Phillips, a Bruno Fernandes, something like that. Wan-Bissaka, has he made a few recoveries as he often does? Llorente's not a bad shout.
I'm going to go Llorente if we're going for our who's got the 3 BPS.
Might be Luke Shaw from creating chances.
Luke Shaw's a great shout.
Llorente is on for 2. Calvin Phillips is on for... I've never seen the bonus points this low, I think, at this stage of a game. Phillips is on for 3 bonus points with a score of 14 after 63 minutes. That's incredibly low.
Knowing that the clean sheet BPS has gone on. Yeah. It's over you've definitely refreshed, Tobe, so you're over the 60 minutes.
Yeah, I'm refreshing now, unless it for some reason hasn't caught up. But yeah, Phillips is on for 3, Llorente is on for 2, and then you've got Maguire and Shaw sharing 1 currently.
No, hang on. Someone in the chat said Llorente's on 28 BPS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got Llorente 28, Wan-Bissaka 26, Meslier and Maguire 25, Shaw 25, Struijk 24, Lindelof 24. So yeah, quite a few in the mix there. But it does seem you're just missing the clean sheet. Maybe
same names that Tobe said, but just with the clean sheet on. So yeah, Llorente on for 3, called it, but just Meslier 25 BPS. Melier's only made how many saves? 3?
3.
Wow, Wood's BPS was 98. I don't think have we ever seen over 100? I mean, I can't remember it.
We must have done when like Antonio scored 4, Aguero scored a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alexis Sanchez scored 4 once for Arsenal years ago. He would have been over that.
Yeah, he was a midfielder. Yeah, great shout. He would have been.
Oh, you get less BPS for scoring goals as a midfielder then.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're thinking overall points. Sorry, it's 93 Woods BPS, not 98 as was on the chat.
I imagine Kane would have been close to that in the Southampton game earlier when I think he scored 1, got 4 assists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kane would have been close.
By the way, next week Vardy, who I've got instead of Kane, plays Southampton away. How good a fixture could that be for Vardy, as we remember from the 9-0?
Do you remember? So
you hate previous historic fixtures, don't you?
I mean, if it's 9-0 again, cool. I don't think it will be.
But I mean, Vardy against Southampton. I like that as much as Kane versus Sheffield United in a Leicester team that's firing and potentially a Spurs team that isn't. Why not?
Even though I don't own Vardy, I definitely was on the Vardy Iheanacho chat before it was cool. Do you remember Scoutcast a few weeks back? And I said it. You boys were like, "Oh, when Maddison comes back, good luck with one of those going on the bench." I mean, come on. What am I working with here, lads?
I did say that, didn't I? I remember that well.
Hey, fair play.
What it was
do you
if Barnes
own both of
and
them?
Maddison
No,
are
I
back.
bottled it.
There we go then.
Yeah,
Sorry, Dan.
throw enough shit, and yeah, some of it will stick. If yeah, I remember thinking if Barnes and Maddison are back fit, and I don't think Barnes has even returned to training. So
Sorry,
I
Dan, to
think
interrupt.
he's out for
Did
the
you,
season.
did you see the little Greenwood little lash out there on Alioski?
Oh, did he do McTominay? Did he?
Little sort of, there was a
On
little
soft.
coming together in the middle. Like, I don't think there's any contact, but Greenwood kind of like thrown an arm his way, which I think obviously didn't connect. But yeah, a little bit of needle there.
Like that. We've got a free kick lined up though. Off the back of that, Bruno about to take
Ooh.
it. Seb.
He tries to chip it over to Rashford, and it's a bit short and easily cleared. Nice idea. Looks a bit silly when it doesn't come off, but nice idea.
Straight off the training ground, that one. The only thing is, it doesn't really work because even if Rashford connects, it looks like he's got a lot of bodies in front of him. It's not like the Argentina free kick in France '98 where they found Zanetti in loads of space and then scored.
Here's one for you. I was thinking the other day, and I'm not saying this is necessarily what I think.
Paveda.
Just wondering. Oh, is he?
My
warming
boy.
up? Nice.
Sorry, Seb, go on.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So I'm not offering this as like an opinion. Just kind of wondering about it. Should people ever shoot from a free kick? Because how many goals are scored from a direct free kick? I don't have that number, but the XG is low. It's so rare that are you actually better, or almost always as a rule, just retaining possession in a dangerous area? Now, I know that's less sexy, and of course, that one time it flies in, you're going to look silly. Maybe if you've got Lionel Messi, fair enough, when they're like penalties. But so often you end up just giving the ball away. Are you actually better just like recycling it in a really dangerous area of the pitch?
Is that possibly the debate around like short corners as well? I.e., what percentage of corners go in versus just essentially playing it short, retaining possession in the final third, I suppose.
That's not a bad shout, yeah.
I think with the free kick, though, if we look at direct free kicks, it'd be really interesting to know what percentage of direct free kicks are scored. It's probably something like 3 or 4%. Like, literally, we barely see it.
I would say it's probably even lower than that.
Yeah, I mean, Kev's saying 100% agreed. I mean, my take on it would be, it depends who you've got as your direct free kick taker. Pirlo, let's say the average was 2%. Pirlo's probably knocking at 10. So, you let him shoot.
James Ward-Prowse, you don't want him recycling, do you? You want him having a pop.
Exactly that. Like James Ward-Prowse, you want him shoot. Although he does have Vestergaard, he'd be playing it too. He's 6'7".
So I have, according to a very cursory Google, I have 6%.
Oh, that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, it is.
Must be Serie A stats. It can't be the Premier League. Must be Serie A.
We are quoting Cristiano Ronaldo and Yaya Toure here, so that looks like old information.
And Cristiano's...
So I don't know how it would have changed.
Cristiano's would be low, though. I mean, his direct free kicks are poor. He always...
It would have been good when he was in the
hits
Prem. Then he didn't score a free kick for about 10 years.
Yeah. But like you're saying, it just depends on who you've got, right? If you've got someone, Lionel Messi, who for that period, they were basically penalties.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you're one of those teams that is rotating free kick takers, you clearly don't have someone who has a record. Maybe you're better just retaining the ball.
Yeah, and then maybe if you've got the big centre-backs as well, like, if you're playing it to, if Maguire's always in the box, then yeah, you like it. If Kurt Hang Time Zuma's there, Bamford yellow card, I think. There'll be loads.
Maguire got one as well. I don't know if we missed that. I think, Harry Maguire got a yellow.
That was a bad tackle, wasn't it, Tobes? That was like, it was never going to be more than a yellow, but it wasn't nice.
It was an orange, but yeah, one of those that's never going to get given as a red.
I saw that was Harry Maguire's 10th of the season as well.
Oh.
Is that a ban?
What date are we on? It's just gone April. Have we just gone up to? I
don't know. It didn't say miss his next match on the graphic.
I think we might have just passed the threshold. It's usually about early April, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Although obviously this season is a bit weird with the fixtures, so I'm not entirely sure when it would fall.
Interesting that they've just brought on Paveda for Harrison, and now Costa looks like he's struggling a little bit. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. They probably would have picked the other bloke.
That yellow card's come one game too late or too early, depending on which side of the fence you sit on. If that had happened last game, he'd have been banned, but he's not.
Nice insight there, Tobes. He probably knew that and therefore made that tackle.
Yeah, fresh late.
I mean, to be fair, you probably do know that, don't you? You know if you can take a yellow card or not.
Hey, why do you think ahead of their 5-match ban before Christmas, they always take one before the New Year, so they can have Boxing Day off?
Yeah, bang, Christmas off, excellent, bang.
What was it you tagged me in earlier, Johnny? Was it that Fabinho one where we were saying like those yellow cards should definitely be more than a yellow? Because that is just, if you are literally just charging into someone with your shoulder with the deliberate intent of knocking them to the floor.
Taking the yellow. Yeah.
That's worse than just a yellow card.
Yeah.
Like he's deliberately, I'm not saying he's tried to hurt Saint-Maximin, but he has tried to foul him and done so with no interest in getting the ball and trying to stop a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
I feel like if there was ever an orange card, it is those ones.
Yeah, like sin bin for 10 minutes.
What Greenwood? How is Greenwood not getting a yellow there for diving? It's either a foul or it's a dive. Like you can't not do one of the. Like he's gone down like a sack of spuds.
I missed that, Tobes, completely.
Yeah, you might. I mean, I'm on 70-40 at the moment. I think I'm about 20 seconds behind you boys, but yeah, Greenwood's gone down there like he's been sniped, and it may well be a foul. I don't know, but if you're not given the foul, surely you got to give the yellow for simulation.
Oh, team news, Tobes. You go for Spurs. I'll go for City.
Just before you jump to that, just going to say, looks like Costa's coming off. We've got Click coming on, which possibly means Roberts to the wing.
Or would Roberts go out wide? No.
Quite possibly. Although he hasn't played wide in a while. Anyway, back over to you for your team news.
Do you want to go City first? Because I still haven't got it up.
See who gets it first, because I've not got City yet. I'm refreshing the Twitter feed as we go. I've got it. Okay, we'll go City first. Stefan in goal. That's good for you, Tobes. Stefan in goalkeeper.
Pep said he was going to be in goal a couple of weeks ago. That's not a surprise.
Here's the cup keeper. Walker right back. Diaz Laporte. Cancelo left back. So no John Stones, who's of course suspended. Fernandinho, the captain, starts. No Rodri. Gundogan next to him. De Bruyne next to that. And a front three of Mahrez, Foden and Sterling. So it'll be Foden or Sterling as the number 9 by the looks of it. With KDB, Gundogan and Fernandinho in the middle. I don't think it'll be KDB up top because that would mean Foden in midfield, and we know Foden hasn't started in midfield all season. Tobes, does Harry Kane start?
Do you know, I still haven't got it up. I'm refreshing, and I still have. Have you got Spurs news?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, give me 10 seconds. This should be up imminently.
No, it's not it's not on their Twitter page, is it?
No.
I'll check the BBC website.
Okay, so I know for 100% Harry starting because I can see it on Twitter, but I can't actually see the full lineup yet. Come on.
It's weird that their social media team obviously just haven't tweeted it quickly enough.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at like Sky as well. Sky still, they've got City's lineup, but they haven't got Spurs. Bizarre.
Back over at Ellen Road, we have Paul Pogba getting ready to come on.
Finally Pogba coming on. So we expect, will Dan James come off maybe?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean,
Sky are showing the 11s.
So they are.
On the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah, nice. I should have it now. Bear with me for 2 ticks.
Lloris in goal, according to Sky, obviously. Sergio Aurier, Tobo Alderweireld, Eric Dyer, and Reguilon.
Yeah.
Harry Winks and Højbjerg.
Wow.
Oh.
Did not expect that. Lucas Moura, Lo Celso, Son, and then presumably our number 9 will be Harry Kane.
No Gareth Bale.
No Gareth Bale.
That's massive as well. Bringing in Harry Winks for a cup final.
Was that no Ndombele either?
Yeah, no Ndombele.
Was Lo Celso in there?
Lo Celso was in there. Yeah. Oh, Leeds might be in here.
Come on, Leeds.
Mertez clicked down the right hand side. He's cut inside, real nice. Oh, he's placed it straight into Dean Henderson's arms. There's a small chance we would have checked offside there anyway. But if he played it earlier, he possibly could have got it across to your boy Poveda. Cut inside nicely, but a weak finish in the end.
It's still not in the Spurs Twitter. That's poor from them. I think Poveda was offside, but Click was on, wasn't he, Seb?
Oh, okay. I kind of just caught it at the last moment. So it looked like one of those where we would have to go back and have a check, but fair.
Oh, that was a really good chance. Time and space. The one thing you want is time and space, and they had it. If Click had been on the pitch for 5 minutes, he might have been in the rhythm a bit. He'd just come on. It was probably his first kick.
Ooh, Luke Ayling just tried one from like 35 yards at an angle, straight into Henderson's arms. No problem.
Rocket though.
Who's wearing a cap, by the way. But yeah, I would have liked that. If
he hits it clean. It's always rising, isn't it?
Dean Henderson sees it a mile off, but why not? You know, get one on the board. That's our shots on target up by 1.
Dean Henderson's obviously got a problem with the sun, so you may as well shoot on sight, right?
Actually, that's quite a good spot. Yeah, good point.
Don't sound so surprised, Seb.
You've got to have one a week, Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke Shaw might be in here down the left. He's cut it back to Bruno. Ooh. So Luke Shaw down the left, not played by through by Bruno because he was in the box. Cuts it back to Bruno, who goes for the shot. I think it's just about blocked. It may even have bounced out for a goal kick if it's come back off a Man United player. It was Rashford who plays Luke Shaw, and it was a really nice ball.
Spurs have finally tweeted. Not that there's any news to deliver because we've already got the team, but I am blown away by the fact Harry Winks is starting a cup final, having barely played a minute recently.
Did he come on against Southampton? Did he get a few minutes, but like 10,
Yeah, he did.
right? Like,
Yeah, he came on. But he's just also like, it might be unkind. I just don't think he's that good. Like, we've got better options that we should be playing. Yeah, I'm surprised Ndombele's not playing. He's also got a track record in Ndombele of dominating City's midfield. When he was in France,
Lyon, yeah.
Lyon, he had a famous like performance, 2 legs. He just ran that midfield.
They're in the same group, weren't they?
They were, yeah. I'm surprised, but yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be a tough game anyway.
It was, Husam Aouar and Ndombele, who Pep Guardiola went and had a word with after the match, wasn't it?
Yeah, he does that.
They were both very, very good. We have Tyler Roberts, who was on the right, by the way, off for Robin Koch. So I think Koch might go into the midfield as he has done the last few weeks. Dallas might now actually be going to the wing. And Paul Pogba has come on for Dan James as well. So you'd expect that is just Paul Pogba out to the left.
Yeah, I expected James to come off. That's just looking at that Spurs lineup, Tobes. So we've got. So it's the back four, as I thought it might be, with Dyer and Toby Alderweireld. I guess the only thinking of Harry Winks is that we want to play two deep lying midfielders. But Ndombele under Mourinho was playing in that deep line. In Mourinho's last month, he was playing fairly deep in a 2 with Højbjerg, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think is we know that Ndombele struggles to finish games as well, whereas Winks won't struggle to finish a game. But yeah, maybe the thought process is try and keep the game fairly tight for an hour, 70 minutes, and then Ndombele is the kind of person you bring on who can unlock, a tired midfield, tired defence. It's the only thing I can think. But yeah, personally, I'd rather have kind of 60 minutes of Ndombele or 70 minutes of Ndombele with, take him off if needs be if he's gassed. But yeah, it's a weird one. 4-2-3-1, obviously, but yeah, I'm surprised Bale's not starting as well. Thought that would be nailed on.
Luke Shaw is looking dangerous here. He just gets into the area again, lays it over to Greenwood, who takes it on his right foot and slips over because, as we know, his left foot is his stronger foot. But a couple of chances there in the last couple of minutes that Luke Shaw has created himself. And my palms are getting ever so slightly clammy. I will take a 0-0 here quite happily. It's like the end of the Man City game again.
Oh yeah, mate of mine, a Spurs fan, just text me going #Mason out.
This is going to be really annoying for me because next week I'm 100% selling Bruno. He could have scored a hat-trick today, and I'm selling him. And it's for a Spurs midfielder because I don't have Kane. I've just sold Son. It was always going to be for Bale. With him not starting today, I still think it will be for Bale. I still think Bale will play 80 minutes in all Premier League games, but
is that just like, I know the cup final is the more important match, but if the reason Gareth Bale wasn't finishing matches is because fitness and not just Mourinho didn't like him, can he not play 2 in a week or 2 in however many? And so for whatever reason, Ryan Mason has chosen today. If does Gareth Bale track back? Is he going to be able to form a shape to face Man City? Maybe he is better in the last 20 minutes when you need a goal, as opposed to from the start, and then you save him for the week.
Yeah, exactly that. I think this strikes me as a team that's looking to try and keep the game within touching distance for 70 minutes with the option of a couple of players off the bench to try and change the game if needs be. I guess that's what he thinks is the best chance Spurs have got, rather than, start Bale, start Ndombele, be 4-0 down at half-time and the game's gone.
It's just because it was a cup final, though. I guess, you're always going to start Kane and Son. Maybe he just thought, Kane, Son and Bale is a little bit too aggressive. But I just want those players on the pitch for a cup final. We've seen Bale do it in Champions League finals. What have you seen, Seb?
I was just thinking, I'm not seeing anything in the Man United match, but just thinking, I know it's a cup final, but it's the League Cup final. It doesn't get you Champions League. It doesn't, in a season that's not been great for Spurs, sure, it's a cup, but I don't know if it's anything more than just a bit of a cherry on top of a good season for most people, or, for a team in the bottom half, it's a great thing. Spurs, are they actually better going for 4th than trying to win today?
That's we could do a whole kind of 2 hours on that, to be honest with you. But that was a kind of talk under Poch. And it was like, we're great and we're playing good football and we're a good team. But it was still like levied at us, where's your silverware? You haven't won anything. And I was always kind of like, I don't mind not winning stuff. If we're playing brilliant football in the Champions League in the Spurs way, I was quite happy with that. And in a way, I'm kind of almost like, if we win the Carabao Cup and finish 8th, I don't feel like we've had a particularly good season, certainly not compared to what we were doing under Pochettino. But everyone goes, it's a trophy. And that's where there's a bit of conflict here as to what actually is the best. And also, like, financially as well, it's far more beneficial to be in the Champions League than it is to win the Carabao Cup. But yeah, there is such a big emphasis, isn't there, on winning trophies, and albeit the League Cup's a bit of a Mickey Mouse one these days. But it's a major trophy, it's a major honour.
From my team's point of view, from Leeds' point of view, I don't remember the last time I wasn't pleased when we went out the cup, basically. Because we were either chasing promotion or newly promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't need us trying to get to a League Cup final. Genuinely, even if we win it, I'll be happy for a day, and then I'm all about the league again. So, yes. And other trophies might be a bit different, but it just doesn't mean that much to me.
I largely agree with that. Like if Spurs win the cup final today, we aren't suddenly elevated to this level of being a big club because we've got a League Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that. That to me is just a sort of tribal thing that rival fans will be like, oh, how many trophies have you won? And it's like, well, yeah, that's a sort of cheap way of looking at it, isn't it? Obviously, you want to win trophies, but yeah, I'd rather be playing good football in a nice style, playing in the Champions League, and focusing on trying to do better in the league each year than winning a League Cup. I really would. When
Harry Kane finishes his career and he's in the studio for the BBC, it's not going to come up on the bottom of the screen, Harry Kane, League Cup winner 2020-2021. It will come up with 100 England caps or 350 Premier League goals or whatever. Like that's not going to be what he remembers when he retires because it's only a League Cup. But
it'll be leading Premier League scorer of all time. That'll be the thing on Harry Kane.
I'm not so sure. It depends if he. Yeah. Well,
we could
talk about that for 20 minutes. 81 minutes left. 81 minutes.
81 minutes left.
It's Leeds 0, United 0. Leeds on the counter. Seb, what's your timestamp? Are you still ahead?
81, 41, 42.
Yeah. Okay. Come on, Leeds. Let's do this. I mean, look, it's still a great a point you take all day long.
I would obviously very much like the victory, mostly just because of obviously the 6-1 last time out. I feel like we've already put that to bed a bit. We haven't been taken apart like we were in that last match.
Was it 6-1? I thought it was 5-2. Was it 6-1?
Was it 6-1? I mean, like I said.
You got battered, yeah.
It's gone. Whatever it was, it's gone. But we've done a lot better today. Of course, I'd love to win this, but I will take a 0-0. It's a useful point for an impressive finish in the league, hopefully. And it's kind of putting to bed that result from last time.
By the way, guys, KDB starts today for City. KDB, who we didn't think would be ready. KDB, who was flagged in FPL. So a lot of the big hitters for City in FPL, Diaz, Cancelo, Gundogan, KDB, all starting today. What does that make you think for next weekend? Maybe due a rest, knowing that they've got two legs of a champ. Seb, I call this mostly...
I still have KDB.
It was 6-2, says Moshe. Okay, I won't question you. Cool, I'll go with that.
Was it genuinely? You can tell I've just tried to ignore this since it happened. But was it 4-0 at half time and then 2-2 in the second half or something? It was basically we got blitzed early on and then we weren't that bad. I remember thinking at one point, we could actually come back here. There was that point where we could have gone and scored a few goals ourselves.
They probably got it back to 4-2 and then they scored too late. I think again it was Bruno points late on in the game when the game was over. By the way, Cavani's coming on by the looks of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just one of those matches that we got blitzed early on, which we did a fair few times early in the season.
Yeah.
That happens when you're playing centre mids and right backs at centre back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a game. I think Phillips was out for that game as well.
Oh, Pogba. Another ball over the top there where Phillips was out. Pogba controlled the ball, just failed to take it down properly and get a shot away. We've seen a few of those today.
He is wearing gloves. Someone in the chat said he is actually wearing gloves.
It's not. I mean, I'm down in London. I was out yesterday, and in the sun it was nice, but in the shade, in the wind, it was pretty chilly. And this is obviously up in Leeds.
He is running around a football pitch. For me, gloves have to. I would wear gloves if I was a footballer. I get it, right? But I'd be wearing gloves at 0 degrees and anything near 0. I wouldn't be wearing gloves at 12. It's 12 degrees in Leeds today.
Maybe it's one of those things. You just feels right in wearing it. We've all played sports and had those little silly rituals that we do. Or when playing rugby, we all had the way we taped our socks and taped our wrists and whatnot in certain ways. Of course, the tape helps with grabbing the ball. Especially to come half, it helps. But realistically, once you've done it a few times, you're like, nah, this is just how I tape myself now, ready for the match. Maybe there's a little bit of that. It's a little bit chilly. Pogba likes his gloves. It makes him feel in the zone.
Yeah, maybe. By the way, thank you, Seb, about the touch rugby chat. I've signed up for Thursday night this week.
Oh, have you?
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oh, so good, so really good. Yeah, we just finished our season this Thursday gone. Down we play. The Olympic Stadium.
Yeah.
We literally play on the pitches below that. There's an athletic track and a big football pitch which they divide up for touch rugby.
Oh, amazing.
Literally in the shadow of that. That's where we play.
What have you signed up for, Jan?
a touch rugby like
there's tag rugby, right, Janny? Not touch, sorry, or have you done touch?
No, it's touch.
What's the difference?
You're doing touch. So I do tag.
It's an O2 rugby thing where they go to rugby grounds and do touch for like, I don't know, 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever.
Oh, nice. Like tag and touch actually are quite different. Like if you just sort of watch them, they're effectively the same games. But obviously tag, you're grabbing tags. Touch, you've got to get 2 hands on someone.
Right.
There's actually really different tactics for them. So like in touch rugby, you'll often see the defense retreating away from someone, trying not to touch them. Because one of the ways of playing touch is you just run it up the middle, get touchdown, recycle, and you're trying to just catch the defense out so you can like make a break or an overlap. So you'll often see the defense like retreating, keeping their shape and not wanting to touch someone. Like you'll look for a touch as an attacker. Obviously tag, it's kind of the other way around. You want to not get tagged.
Whole new world for me, this. I'm not au fait with my rugby.
What it is, Tobes, I signed up to...
I really enjoy it.
I wanted to find a 5 or 6-a-side league, and I've got no mates around here, and I couldn't find them. So I did that whole thing where you can register yourself as an individual, and for like a month, I've not been called up by a team. Not once. Not one call up. And I'm like, do I just go down and start doing keepy-uppies on the side of the pitch so they can see the obvious talent? Or like, so I was just like, no, forget that. I can join the rugby session on a Thursday where I can just know I can go, and it's like really informal, and they create teams there.
Yeah. I remember you wouldn't even play for my 5-a-side team when you were living in Croydon and we played at Clapham, which is about a 5-minute train journey. You were like, no, not, it's my day off or something.
It was the bloody kick-off times, wasn't it? It was a Friday, that was why. Yeah.
I really, really enjoy it. Like it's not obviously the same as Union and League, and I still miss playing Union regularly, but it's really, the reason I like it is obviously Union, if you're going to go play on a Wednesday night or something, you need 2 hours to get yourself up for that. It's a whole thing. Tag rugby, which I play, or
you also have to go to the gym.
I enjoy that, but like you can, touch or tag rugby. You just roll up 10 minutes before kickoff and you're good to go. You don't have to get yourself in that place where I'm going to get crushed by someone 100 kg heavier than me. I still miss Union, but it keeps that, it keeps your hands in touch. It keeps that little bit of rugby going. I like it.
By the way, Cavani has come on and he's sporting a plaster just below his eye. Is that like... Yeah, is that...
Like Nelly?
He's like Nelly, country grammar. So yeah, he's got like a blue plaster on. I think it was
not too many chances since we last came back to it, I don't think. I've seen a couple of things in the area going forward for Man United, but similar to before where they're just not quite getting on the end of stuff. And then Leeds looking to break and maybe just failing to find that final ball.
Moshe's nailed it. He goes, "This is the worst game of the season." I mean, it has been a diet. We usually pick the best game of the game week. We've been lucky in recent weeks. We picked some brilliant games. This has been a bore draw. It really has. It's been. Have we had a big chance?
It kind of needed a goal, didn't it? Like even, and I said wouldn't have liked it, but if that Greenwood header had gone in after like 30 seconds, it probably would have been a better game.
It would have. So all those that bought in Greenwood, even Donny is coming on. Donny van der Beek, 88 minutes, he gets his little run out. I shouldn't say little, but he gets a run out. It's just, it's
been a bizarre signing, isn't he? Or like the way in which he's been utilised, so incredibly limited in minutes. Like, I don't know. Is it? He can't be happy with his season, can he?
He might go.
You have like the second best number 10 in the world, and then you sign a really good number 10. I guess that's what's going to happen, right?
I don't know if Bruno's the second best number. I don't know if Bruno... I mean... Okay, in the Premier League, his numbers have been brilliant. But this is the same Bruno that wasn't brilliant at Sampdoria. Wasn't brilliant at Udinese.
Not the point I was making. But interesting conversation anyway. So who's above... Obviously, I'm putting KDB above him. Who's for you? Oh, Man United are in the area here.
Harry Kane's the best 10 in the league.
Yeah, Kane's a better 10. I'll give you that.
So who's the best number 10 in the world then?
Well, teams
in the world.
Who's ahead of Fernandes?
There's loads of teams that don't play with a number 10, so we can't compare. There's quality players that I think could do that role better than Bruno, but they don't play there.
I mean, well, that's the question then. So who could do that role? I mean, for me, KDB.
Yeah.
And I think
KDB's head and shoulders.
Bruno is probably second behind him in terms of... I mean, yeah, Sampdoria was a long time ago, so...
Yeah, he wasn't young,
I think
he wasn't a kid.
I mean, we've seen Jesse Lingard, for want of a better example, Yeah, sure, when you're young and then you mature and you become a better player, but players change throughout their career all the time.
I mean, yeah, I can't even give you the 10 names because you're right, it is difficult, and he is definitely up there. Of course he is, but I just think the team at United is tailor made for him, and he does very well. You watch Bruno play for Portugal. I think he's got like 1 assist in 20 games or something. It's like his Portugal record's shocking, but of course he's not the big fish in that team. I think Bruno needs to have the team built for him, and he needs to be in the 10 role, which he gets at United. I'm not blown away by him. Of course, I think he's a fantastic FPL option, and I think he's, on paper, up there with the sort of best 3 or 5 10s in the world, but not for me. Not in the conversation of a KDB sort of level of talent, that's for sure.
Reasonable. Oh, yeah, no, I think KDB is clearly better. But, I mean, Thomas Muller, maybe when he's doing that kind of role for Bayern, he kind of does do that 10 role. Again, not quite traditional, but he does that very, very well. Maybe you say it's just because there's a lack of players who do that role in the same system. Yeah,
difficult. I mean, Messi is the obvious one, but is he a 10?
I mean,
he can be.
To be completely honest, whenever we have this conversation, I just ignore Messi. He's the best at everything.
Yeah,
like, he'd probably be the best right back.
Steady.
Get the ball off him.
Yeah,
right back. Get the ball off him.
But you'd definitely be targeting the back stick, wouldn't you? In the air. I remember when Chelsea played in Moscow Champions League final, and United got an early goal, Ronaldo header, because we played Essien at right back. Now Essien's a worldie player, but Avram Grant decided to play him at right back for the first time ever, and Fergie went target the back stick, Ronaldo header early on.
Yeah, fair.
We're into stoppage time. I can't wait for this game to finish, to be honest. 3 minutes left. I think we're going to get fireworks in the cup final. I really hope we do. I'm looking forward to watching that one. Unfortunately, guys, we're not doing a watch along for that. But
got no FPL interest.
True.
Might not even put it on.
It'd finish me as well, I think. Well, I wouldn't be able to cope. I can't even cope when they're playing on in the league, let alone in the cup final.
Bale to come on and score the winner. That's my bet. In fact, I might have a look at the odds on that.
He's got some previous at scoring some important goals in cup finals, isn't he?
Yeah, that overhead kick he got for Real Madrid in the fight. That's the best goal ever in the fight. That's up there.
That is the best goal I've ever seen in a final ever. Yeah. I think by some distance. In the final as well. It's the biggest game in the calendar, isn't it?
People talk about the Ronaldo overhead kick, and it's like, that was obviously unbelievable. But the Bale overhead kick is levels apart. Like, it's the best goal ever. Like it's up there with Van Basten for the best goal ever.
I think you'd make a pretty good case for it. To be fair, the circumstances of it, who it's against, the timing of it, the game time, it's just brilliant.
I think we spoke about this previously, but I maintain that the Mandzukic one,
so good.
Real Madrid was so good, and it gets forgotten about because obviously they lost that match,
and it got them in the game, didn't it? That game, they were 1-0 down just before half time, I think it was.
I believe so.
Oh, what's the BPS? Here we go.
So nothing's still really happening in this match.
Are we forgetting Daniel, are we forgetting the Croydon De Bruyne? Yes. Smith Rowe is up there, but maybe not in top 3.
I think Wan-Bissaka's gone top of the bonus points, followed by Shaw, followed by Strike. Strike, is that how you pronounce it? Strike?
Stroke.
I always say it wrong.
Oh, well, I mean, he's Dutch, and there's that sound that I cannot make in Dutch. The U and the I is kind of like it's halfway between like ow and o. I can't make it properly, but I think Strauch is a fair enough representation.
Ricardo, I was waiting for someone to say it, and Zidane versus Leverkusen at Hampden Park was a very good goal. It's up there with one of the best final goals. I'm still not putting it in Bale category. And also, I really dislike Zidane. Why? Well, he tried mugging my boy Marco Materazzi off in a final.
There aren't many people that dislike Zidane, are there? But Gianni is one of them.
Disgraceful.
We have full time here.
Oh, thank God. It's Shaw on. I've got Shaw on for 3 bonus, which a lot of FPL managers will be very happy about.
Should have captained Shaw, not Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh, do you own Shaw? Lovely stuff.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's kind of when everyone else has got Chris Wood or Captain Salah. My Shaw isn't that impressive, but I'll have it.
I don't know. I mean, that's a very useful 9 points.
What's the points? Yep.
Okay, guys, we've got a final to watch. Like, we're not going to hang around today. There's not much post-match. We've done the preview. There's not much post-match analysis. So, I mean, look, guys, hopefully you're all liking this channel, right? Hopefully you comment. But definitely be subscribing. If you're not subscribing to the YouTube channel, then sort yourself out. Come on. Give us a follow on Twitter. Follow Seb. Follow Toby. Final words from you, Seb. Happy with the draw?
Yeah. from an FPL point of view, not that exciting. From an us watching it point of view, not that exciting. From the Leeds fan, which I try so hard to keep in when we're doing these, I'll take it. Would have loved a win, but it's a useful point. 0-0 against Man United to wipe out that match earlier in the season. Pretty happy.
Yeah. Tobes, excited for the final?
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it's a better game than the one we've just seen, because that was that was a tough watch. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a bit sick, so might need to go and throw up in a minute.
Love that tactical chunder, guys. We'll be back next week as the season's drawing to an end, isn't it? We've only got a few weeks left, so do make the most of this and always join us for a Scout Clutch match day. Follow us on Twitter to know when we're doing them, but it'll be one game week a week, and we look forward to seeing you next weekend. So good luck for the rest of the game week, and we'll see you soon. Cool.